would make it this far. They hated, they never believe me. Yeah, I would never drop the ball. I know I make it look easy. Yeah, Mayweather with the defense. I don't care what a critic got to say. I got them picking up the pieces. That mean you really playing with your life. I'm about to come and run it all back. I'm the new era, about to snap back. You ain't fitting for it, cause you all cap like. Hold up, I shoot my shot, wait, hold up. I'm really about to run this go up. You know it's all net when it go up. Ain't got no other plans, you don't need to understand. Ay, we on overtime, you don't need to understand. Ay, you just show them how to do it when you don't know what to say. Tell me how you plan to win if you plan to play the same. Moving fast, already gone, yeah, but you bringing me back. Try to double cross me, dog, just let me relax. Stop assuming what we doing. Keep it moving, what we doing. Cause it can get big right. Cause it can get big right. Cause it can get big right. Hey, please don't play no games with me. I promise I'm too much. Hey, I can never let up even if you had enough. Hey, this ain't for the faint of heart. We always playing rough. I had enough, it ain't luck. I needed a vision, I needed ambition, I needed a mission to beat in submission with no intermission. I see the collision, the crash in the distance, they coming off track, no. Now when they ask what's the motive, don't talk, I just show them. They all about to see what I mean in the moment. I gotta keep going, I'm shaking the dice and I'm keeping it rolling, they already know. Ain't got no other plans, you don't need to understand. Ay, we on overtime, you don't need to understand. Ay, you just show them how to do it when you don't know what to say. Tell me how you plan to win if you plan to play it. Moving fast, already gone, yeah, but you bringing me back. Try to double cross me, dog, just let me relax. Stop assuming what we doing. Keep it moving, what we doing. Cause it can get big right. Cause it can get big right. Cause it can get big right. Who knew I would make it this far? They hated, they never believe me. Yeah, I would never drop the ball. I know I make it look easy. Mayweather with the defense. I don't care what a critic got to say. I got them picking up the pieces. That mean you really playing with your life. I'm about to come and run it all back. I'm the new era, about to snap back. You ain't fitting for it, cause you all cap like. Hold up, I shoot my shot, wait, hold up. I'm really about to run this go up. You know it's all net when it go up. Ain't got no other plans, you don't need to understand. Ay, we on overtime, you don't need to understand. Ay, you just show them how to do it when you don't know what to say. Tell me how you plan to win if you plan to play the same. Moving fast, already gone, yeah, but you bringing me back. Try to double cross me, dog, just let me relax. Stop assuming what we doing. Keep it moving, what we doing. Cause it can get big right. Cause it can get big right. Cause it can get big right. Hey, please don't play no games with me. I promise I'm too much. Hey, I can never let up even if you had enough. Hey, this ain't for the faint of heart. We always playing rough. I had enough, it ain't luck. I needed a vision, I needed ambition, I needed a mission to beat in submission with no intermission. I see the collision, the crash in the distance, they coming off track, no. Now when they ask what's the motive, don't talk, I just show them. They all about to see what I mean in the moment. I gotta keep going, I'm shaking the dice and I'm keeping it rolling, they already know. Ain't got no other plans, you don't need to understand. Ay, we on overtime, you don't need to understand. Ay, you just show them how to do it when you don't know what to say. Tell me how you plan to win if you plan to play the same. Moving fast, already gone, yeah, but you bringing me back. Try to double cross me, dog, just let me relax. Stop assuming what we doing. Keep it moving, what we doing. Cause it can get big right. Cause it can get big right. Cause it can get big right.
All right. Good morning, ATP. What's really good? Running late, chasing myself around her. You know what I mean? Trying to get myself together here so we can get into this show. Big show today, man. Hope everybody is doing well. Got a couple of topics we got to cover going on in boxing, of course. Where else? News coming out on Keith Thurman and Sebastian Fondora potentially being in negotiations right now. A handshake seems to be the binding glue in this agreement right now. Not necessarily paperwork followed up soon. I guess the PBC is going to put this as a pay-per-view card. We'll talk about that as well. This pay-per-view model is getting so difficult to really wrap our mind around, right? Well, I think we're getting tired of the pay-per-view model, at least for the fights that don't make sense. Calling out these fights, I think the space is kind of pushing back at this pay-per-view situation. I'm interested in what you guys think about it. Of course, does this need to be on a pay-per-view or not? And how much are they actually going to charge to watch Keith Thurman fight against Sebastian Fondora for Sebastian Fondora's current WBC title that he's holding down? Last fight Sebastian Fondora fought was against Cordell Booker, right? I don't know how many people know who Cordell Booker is, but he got dispatched pretty efficiently and easily in that fight. And that was a free fight, at least that wasn't a pay-per-view, but I don't know if this constitutes pay-per-view, but we'll talk about it and how this fight's going to be. Keith Thurman has a big challenge, tall, right? Task in front of him in a towering inferno, Sebastian Fondora. So we'll talk about that as well. Guys, we got to tap into this Moses Ituama Dillian Whyte card. Of course, we got to tap into that card, get into these fights that are actually going to be there. I'll give some predictions on what I think is going to happen on that card. And also we have to go over the undercard of Terrence Crawford, Canelo Alvarez, at least what's been announced. Keep in mind, guys, that is supposed to be a 2-3 day prelim event. So, undercard on that card, which is going to be following up 2 days, at least Thursday, Friday of prelim card, prelim fights are going to be on there. One of them being Jarrell Miller against Michael Hunter. So we'll see what they have planned for us there as well. Then we'll open up the panel and bring up the usual suspects. We'll talk this boxing talk. Hope everybody's doing well. I see AK Crowder in the building, says blessings, Brother Claymore. It's Throwback Thursday, King. Oh yeah. I didn't know. Is it Throwback Thursday? I don't know. Is it? We got a couple of people in the building. Please make sure to hit the like button as you guys are creeping in here. Take your time to go ahead and do that. Definitely want to talk about this Keith Thurman card as well as Keith Thurman Sebastian Fondora card. I don't know, guys. I don't know. Listen, man, the PBC is keeping these fights in-house as much as they can. They're trying to control the bleeding, which is what it looks like to me. That they're trying to control this hemorrhaging, and they're trying to figure out what their next move is going to be, making it their best move. What is the PBC ultimately planning on doing? This fight right here, I don't know how many people were asking for it. Obviously, we know Virgil Ortiz also sitting there with an interim title in that sanctioning body. Where did Keith Thurman come from? I guess this is kind of like going back to that game plan of having Keith Thurman fight Tim Tszyu, then end up being Tim Tszyu and Sebastian Fondora. So I guess Keith Thurman is getting his opportunity, right? I don't know. This is an opportunity for Keith Thurman to definitely get back into the conversation of being a champion, right? Which is what in his best days, Keith Thurman was a champion, unified in the welterweight division at one point. So he's got a task in front of him, and I am interested in seeing how Keith Thurman is going to approach this fight here. The body work is going to be there for him, I guess, but a new Sebastian Fondora who's dialed into using all these physical attributes he now has. He's always had, but now he's dialing into using that, which makes sense, which is what it should be. So Sebastian Fondora becoming a better fighter as time goes by through each fight. This fight right here, in my opinion, is a huge opportunity for Sebastian Fondora to get better, right? When you have these kind of opponents in front of you who box, move like Keith Thurman does, this is going to help you level up. So Sebastian Fondora is going to try to capitalize off that. Interested in seeing what the undercard is going to be now on the back end of Gervonta Tank Davis getting his charges dropped. His hands are free now. Will the PBC use this as an opportunity to bring all these fights in on one card? Maybe they'll have Tank headline this card with a Manny Pacquiao fight, or a Lamont Roach fight, right? I don't know how they want to approach it, but Yeah, man, another in-house fight by the PBC. I don't know how many people are really asking for this fight. It's got to be honest. I just don't know how many people are really asking for it, especially on a pay-per-view. Oh, man, the pay-per-view just makes it just stings. It makes it hurt when they hit you with the pay-per-view for cards like this. It's just like, ouch. I don't know if I want to really co-sign this. I got a feeling Fire Sick Boys are going to be outside for this one. I don't know. It is what it is. Let me see here. Bear with me here. I'm trying to set up all this stuff here. I didn't set up the way I wanted to. I'm trying to catch up. Went to the gym this morning. Got it in. Put the work in. Hold on a second here. Download. Let's see. Boom. 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 Oh, shit. Effing up out here, you know. Let's keep going down. And then boom. And then boom. All right, let's see if that'll do it. Let's see if that will do it. Oh, wow. Let's see if that will do it. Let's see what we're looking at here. All right, boom, right? Crawford Alvarez undercard revealed. Let's talk about that for a minute because a lot of people are not happy with this undercard. I think we're getting used to Turki Al-Sheikh delivering these events, right? These star-studded events, just packed from top to bottom. People are finding an opportunity to push back at what Turki's doing right now. I'm pretty sure he communicated that he wasn't going to stack this undercard, that he was going to allow Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford the space to carry this card because of the magnitude of the fight and giving opportunity for a lot of up-and-coming fighters to get a big stage to be on. Personally, looking at the fights that have been announced on this card, I don't think they're that bad. I don't think they're bad at all. I mean, clearly people don't know who a lot of these fighters are. Unfortunately, it is what it is. But let's talk about these fights and talk about these matchups. Turkey and Ring Magazine have been notorious for putting together great matchups. They got great matchmakers over there. Very rarely are you watching lopsided fights. Just because you don't know who it is doesn't mean it's going to be anything less than a 100% hit as far as delivery on the quality of the fight. Salute to Delonte Fam Sports in the building. Salute to you, family. Guys, remember to hit the like button as you come into the building. Let's see here. Let's talk about, let's go deeper into the undercard, into this fight right here that I'm really interested in. This Raymond Ford Abraham Nova fight right here is going to be a real interesting fight. Big fight at 130 for Raymond Ford, who's been really having a hard time. These great fighters are having a hard time getting into title fights. Raymond Ford's been pretty active this year. Matchroom keeping him pretty busy. Was looking to fight Eduardo Nunez and challenge him for that IBF title. That got passed up on. What it was supposed to be Raymond Ford versus, I believe, Anthony Kakachi. Kakachi finds his way out of that fight. Ouch. The same way he found out his way out of the fight with Eduardo Nunez as well. And as a replacement, Raymond Ford gets Abraham Nova to fight, which I think is going to be a great fight for Raymond Ford. Abraham Nova in some pretty difficult fights as of late. One of his most notorious fights that guys might remember him being is against Robesi Ramirez, and of course his most recent fight, as far as title shot that he had against Oshaki Foster. We saw that fight. Boxer puncher in Abraham Nova, a mover when he needs to be. Really got a skill set and a pedigree that he brings to this that I think is going to be something good for Raymond Ford to get into the ring with. We'll watch Raymond Ford deal with the movement of Abraham Nova. I think Raymond will probably be the puncher in this one, but Abraham Nova also known to sit up in there and trade shots. So we'll see how he ends up turning that out and how that ends up turning into a fight here. Raymond Ford on the back end of this fight, a victory should put himself right in the conversation of fighting somebody significant, whether it's Eduardo Nunez, whether it's lining up for the winner between Oshaki Foster and Stephen Fulton, or maybe even, entertaining a Roach fight if Roach decides to defend his WBA title down there. That puts Ford right in that conversation as well. Abraham Nova looking to take his last, in my opinion, sitting at 130 for a while right now. I don't know if he plans on going to 130, 35 at some point. He's a pretty big 130 pounder. I'll be honest with you. Let me pull up his information, as a matter of fact, as well. I do actually want to take a closer look at Abraham Nova, because I think he's been here a little while now, and it's kind of getting to that point for him where if it's not gonna work out for you at 130, if you're not gonna get into title contention and things of that nature, then why put yourself through that, cutting that weight? Why not make it a little easier on yourself? Go up to 135, take off a little stress off that weight cut, and get some money fights up there, get some decent fights. I'm sure Abdullah Mason or up and coming Carmel Moten and a lot of up and coming Andy Cruz, decent little fights that could be made for Abraham Nova up there at 135. But this right here, he's throwing his shot. He's throwing it in the hat and getting in front of, as a last minute replacement of a up and coming Raymond Ford. Let's see it. 1 second here. I got text messages and all types of things coming my way. Let's see his box trick right now. Yeah, 5'9" Damian, 6 foot tall, 72 arm reach, 31 years old. Yeah, decent puncher though, decent knockout ratio. But can box, is a good boxer, really good boxer, really good movement when he needs to, when he wants to. He's able to go ahead and deliver that. So, yeah, man, salute. Good morning, Ross Scott. Good morning. Yeah, so I think this is going to be a real interesting fight for Raymond Ford. I think if Abraham Nova stands in front of Raymond and tries to press him, it could be a short night. I could see Raymond really getting him out of there. But at the same time, I think if Nova mixes it up the way I know he can mix it up, he can give Ford some different looks in here that he hasn't had to really deal with in the past that bad, or at least at this level. And we can see Raymond Ford really step it up. Raymond, in my opinion, up and coming 130 pounder. I think he's probably, I really rate him high off the eye test, but he needs that. He needs the opponents. He needs the opportunity to show and prove in that ring. And I know he wants to head down the road to becoming a champion as soon as possible. This fight right here, I'll send him right down that road. You know what I mean? Good morning, new country guys. Salute. Good morning. We'll move on. Another fight on that undercard, Nick Ball versus Sam Goodman. Another understated fighter. Two UK fighters on this one. Believe Nick Ball is the only UK official champion right now. Is that correct? I don't know. Is that what it is? I got to look deeper into that. That's what I'm hearing. The rumors are that he is the only actual champion, WBA champion, that he got off of actual Raymond Ford in a fight in Riyadh. Riyadh has to hold a special spot for Nick Ball. Really gave him an opportunity to show and prove. We watched him lose a fight or run it to a draw, was it, with Ray Vargas? Ultimately lost his opportunity. Well, lost the fight a lot of people thought he won, but Turkey saw a lot in him, gave him another opportunity against Raymond Ford, right back into another title shot, this one for the WBA. He was able to take a split decision victory there and been holding the title ever since. Nick Ball in the conversations of Shushu Carrington and Monster Inoue potential fights, of other champions in the same division as Rafael Espinosa and things of that nature. Fighting against an undefeated fighter who's getting pulled up from 122 in Sam Goodman, right? Sam Goodman, a fighter who we thought we'd see in the ring with Monster Inoue at one point or another. I think of 2 times that fight, and him getting pushed out for whatever reasons, whether it was injuries or just misfortune. I'm not too sure what went into those fights not happening. But here he is stepping up, coming up to 126 to fight against a game rising star puncher, exciting fighter in Nick Ball. Nick Ball had to deal with the movement and the boxing acumen of Sam Goodman, intelligent fighter inside that ring. Nick Ball, I don't want to say is one-dimensional, but right? He kind of has this wrecking ball type of approach to boxing, but it's exciting to watch, like a very efficient Isak Cruz. Really good at cutting the ring off, really good at cutting that space, can get a little grimy, a little dirty sometimes, riding that line of riding that line of sportsmanlike conduct and unsportsmanlike conduct. But listen, gets the job done and is an exciting fighter to watch. Let me see here. New Country Guy says Ball is going to steamroll Goodman. Yeah, I mean, look, is he going to steamroll him? Maybe. If Goodman can use that movement, score, He can make it a fight. But yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I've definitely got Nick Ball winning this fight. Probably stopping Sam Goodman when it's all said and done. That's how I look at it. New Country Guy says he's a dirty little dude. Yeah, at times. I think I saw an interview with Nick Ball when he spoke on it, and it's basically saying, "Hey, man, it's a fight." You know what I mean? We all do things. We all tee to that line. He has no shame in his game. Like his whole thing is, if you play the disrespect game, then you know what I mean. You go ahead and violate. We're gonna demonstrate, right? What Roscott says, Nick Ball is one-dimensional, but he's a good fighter and a better fighter than Pitbull Cruz, who has a similar style. 100%. I was just saying that, Roscott, right? He's one-dimensional, but he's a hard puzzle to figure out because his ability to make you pay makes it very difficult to deal with him. Short, he uses it to his advantage. You know what I mean? Stays real tight in that high guard, steps in, real good footwork, able to get in and cross that void and make it a close range, mid-range and close range game at all times. And he's letting those shots go. He's letting his hands go. So Sam Goodman's going to be on his bicycle, I think, in this fight more than likely. That's what I would think, instead of standing there and fighting with Nick Ball. The question is, how long is he going to be able to maintain it, and how much scoring is he going to be able to do while he's making all this movement happen? As Nick Ball, I'm sure, will be working the body, working to chop him down and hurt him and put him in a position where he's just standing there and be able to get him out of there. You know? Roscott said, I thought Ford beat Nick Ball. Yeah, in that fight, that was a close fight. That could have went either way, Roscott, to be honest with you, right? It could have went either way. Could have went Raymond. It could have went with Nick. I'm annoying. I actually saw Nick get hurt a couple times in those final championship rounds, like round 9, 10, 11, like between 9 and 12. You started seeing Raymond Ford picking it up a little bit at like 11 or 12. I almost thought he was going to put him down in his pockets as Raymond Ford participated in a fight that he probably didn't need to. He probably could have used a lot more boxing, a lot more movement in that fight. And, you know, that might have made the difference and caused that separation he needed to hold his title and go up to 130 as a WBA 126-pound champion, right? It is what it is. But that's going to be an interesting fight. We're going to keep our eyes on that one. Also on that card, a very interesting fight. Where is he at? Danger. Here, my guy, David Adeleye, looks to make himself a relevant name in the heavyweight division, right? The heavyweight division is moving pretty well right now. I'm enjoying watching the fights that they're able to put together up there, pretty stacked up top. But here's one of those fighters who's been looking for an opportunity to get into the conversation of fighting against these champions, and David Adeleye, a puncher, going to go ahead and take a shot at a fighter who was really on the right trajectory of becoming a champion and fighting Anthony Joshua, fighting Alexander Usyk. Eastern European Croatian Filip Hrgovic, heavyweight title fight on that card. I think that fight's going to be a real good fight off the strength of Filip Hrgovic getting himself back from where he derailed himself when he fought Daniel Dubois in a complete wrong way. He approached that fight in the worst way that you could approach that fight with Daniel Dubois, and put him in a situation where the heart got tested, and we saw what Daniel did in that fight. But his last fight against Joe Joyce looked he looked all right. Now with new trainer Abel Sanchez, we're going to see what Filip Hrgovic is able to do, if he's able to get back to the basics and outbox David Adeleye. I would think that's what he's looking to do, and David Adeleye probably looking to get something out of the Daniel Dubois playbook, apply pressure. He's a decent athlete, good athlete in David Adeleye. Boxing-wise, not the highest pedigree, but a great puncher. Right? So it is what it is. New Country Guy says, Clay, don't do that. It's contagious. I'm sorry. I apologize, man. It is what it is. Roscott said, to this day, Ford has been Ball's toughest fight. 100%. Salute to Des 215 in the building. Eastside Easy says, salute and good day. Claymore Rain. What's good, chat? Salute to you, Eastside. What's good, family? Yeah, but David Adeleye, an athlete, man. A puncher, but maybe out of his league in this fight, but he'll be able to, prove us wrong, right? Let's see what David Adeleye can do with a Filip Hrgovic, with a new trainer. We got to see, have we seen enough from Filip Hrgovic to say that he's back in the way he left before he fought Daniel Dubois? I haven't seen that. I didn't see it in the Joe Joyce fight. Maybe this will be the fight. Him and Abel Sanchez, Filip Hrgovic, that is, building up this relationship, working with each other. You see that happen with trainer and boxer. When a new trainer starts with a boxer, they got to get to being comfortable with each other. So let's see what that combination, that dynamic works out in the ring against David Adeleye, when David Adeleye and Filip Hrgovic show up to make it happen. And of course, on that card, and also I wanted to speak on a young and upcoming fighter, Muhammad Akalel. Hold on, where is he at? Where you at, Muhammad? Where you at? Who is this dude? Who is Muhammad Akalel? I've seen him fight on the undercards 2 times already. Decent boxer. Looks like he's trying to step his game up and become more of a puncher. He wants to get these fighters out of the ring. This right here, a little young bull from Saudi Arabia is backing him 100%, obviously, and have a lot of faith in his ability to do something special in boxing. He hasn't done nothing special yet. I think he's about 4 and change right now. Started his pro debut on a Riyadh card. Let's see here. Let me see if I can pull up his box record if he even has anything. Oh, sorry, Akalel. I said Akalel. Akalel. There he goes. Fighting out of birthplace Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. Fights out of Big Bear. Yeah, 4-0, no knockouts. Still hasn't been able to get a stoppage yet. You know, the opponents that are putting him in there with, they're trying to see him get stoppages. He's got a fight on his card. Don't even know the opponent he's fighting against, and even look into it like that. But I don't know, man. I think he just has to take his time and grow. He's a sound boxer. He's a sound boxer. You know what I mean? He's bringing it together, but he's not there yet. Not much to speak on him. Looking forward to see if he's able to show us some improvements and some new wrinkles in his game and see what kind of development has been happening over there on his camp. I feel like he may be working with, is he working with Andy Lee? Who is he working with right now? Who is he working with trainer-wise? I don't know. Don't know much about this kid, man, but he does look decent in the ring, but I don't know what he measures up against anybody of any kind of quality pedigree. You know what I mean? We'll see what ends up happening with him here. We said there was a lot of Hrgovic, but he's very slow and clumsy. Yeah. I think if David Adeleye, Rod Scott puts that pressure on Hrgovic, very similar to how Daniel Dubois did it, and use his athleticism, he can maybe give him some issues. But I expect Hrgovic to win that fight. I'm not going to lie. I think his boxing is just sound enough that jab that he's going to stay behind. I think it's just going to be an issue for David Adeleye. We'll see how he works it out. And I think Hrgovic has understated power. I think he's able to punch. You know what I mean? I think he's definitely able to punch. But yeah, where are we at here? The main event, which is going to be Dillian Whyte against Moses Ituama, which I didn't. Look at that. I didn't do it. Where you at? Boom, 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 pow, boop. Dangerous. Dillian Whyte versus Moses Ituama, which is the fight obviously headlining the card and the biggest fight for the heavyweight division right now, trying to figure out how we're supposed to look at Ituama. And also Dillian Whyte making his last run at becoming getting back into the conversation and being part of the biggest fights in the heavyweight division. That's where Dillian was at for a long time, but we all know the history on him. Looking forward to see Ituama bring in and show these different wrinkles to his game, right? I'm looking forward to looking forward to see him get in some good rounds, some great rounds. Moses definitely gonna take advantage of anything that Dillian Whyte puts out there, and Dillian Whyte playing the coy role right now, basically saying I ain't supposed to win, I'm nothing, don't take me seriously. He's trying to play these games at their face-off the other day. I don't know if it went over. I know it didn't go over, right? Moses Ituama seems too intelligent to fall for that. But regardless, that being said, Dillian Whyte looking to be in his best shape that I've seen him be in forever, in way better shape than what we're seeing here. This right here, this picture right here was a Dillian Whyte who was, Dillian Whyte, but this new Dillian Whyte is in great shape. So he's taking this very seriously. Let's see if the experience in the old bull can be too much for Moses Ituama to deal with, or are we going to see Moses Ituama step up, dominating this fight, and ultimately on the back end of a victory, announce himself in the heavyweight division. New Country Guy says Whyte definitely has, well, let me pull it up here. I'm looking at this small little screen. Says Whyte definitely has more experience and a better pedigree, but can he take Ituama's shots, or does Whyte take him into deep waters and let him drown? Listen, man, let's be honest. Dillian Whyte has the experience. I think the question is going to be about pedigree and who has a better pedigree in this fight, because although Dillian is, has the experience and he knows how to deal with these fighters, this is more of an athletic version of, let's say, almost a Joseph Parker to a certain degree, right? Moses Ituama brings that athleticism and that hand speed, but also follows it up with a lot of power. He can set up his shots really well. He has a real aptitude for learning, working with Ben Davison. I think there's a good chance Moses Ituama will be the better boxer in the ring that night, and that Dillian Whyte needs to make this a fight as soon as possible. And the sooner it gets into being a fight, the better chances Dillian Whyte has of landing something significant in this fight. Rascal said Whyte is going to gas like he usually does, and he's older. Yeah. I expect Moses Ituama to keep pressure on Dillian Whyte, whether it be through letting his hands go or whether it just be through feints. I expect Dillian Whyte to probably get hit with something significant enough to where he's probably going to change his energy. It's not going to be the same as what it was in the beginning of the fight, and that's probably when you'll see Moses Ituama break him down, tear him up, right? That's probably when you're going to see it. It is what it is. It is what it is. That being the undercard for that all the way up into the main fight. I don't think I missed any fights on that card. Wanted to tap in a little bit on this Canelo Alvarez undercard, Canelo Alvarez Terence Crawford undercard. One of the big fights I think on the undercard that's being understated is a fight right here between Lester Martinez and Christian Mbilli. I think that fight alone carries so much weight. People, if you're not familiar with Lester Martinez, go watch a highlight reel, right? I mean, he's like the reincarnation of Canelo Alvarez to a large degree. Really got good head movement, really good shot placement, has a lot of power, and probably going to be the puncher in this fight, which is a lot to say because Christian Mbilli usually carries the weight as the puncher in the fights that he fights in. But Lester Martinez is going to be a formidable opponent when it comes to who's going to be the puncher in this fight. And I think that's what it comes down to. Christian Mbilli, a very strong fighter, a current WBC interim title holder, and in line to fight a Canelo Alvarez. He could legitimately be the next one if Canelo Alvarez is able to get through Terence Crawford. And Billy's definitely in the conversation. And we've watched Mbilli, grow himself up a little name. I think he's working up out of Canada right now, but from Africa, or out of France. Where is he at? Is it France? I think it's France. I might be wrong. I think it's France. With Christian Mbilli. Let me see. Yeah, it's France. It's definitely France. But he's living in Montreal, Quebec, Canada. So it's both. So high knockout ratio for him, 29 wins, 24 knockouts. This fight with Lester Martinez is going to be his biggest challenge that I would believe up until this point. Before that, I might have said Sergey Derevchenko would have been his biggest challenge. But this fight right here, hands down, Lester Martinez carrying it like a G. 19 wins, 16 knockouts. This will be Lester Martinez's biggest challenge up to this point as well. Let me see. Walaikum salam, Fly Frequency. What's good with you, family? Shelton Moore in the building. Salute. Shelton Moore says, I want Dillian to knock his block off. I want Moses tested. No doubt. New Country Guy says, but how many times has Moses been 12 rounds? Ever. Never. Right? So this is an opportunity for Moses to get those rounds in. And let's see how he deals with it and what he's been working on, because he's been dispatching of everybody inside of 4 rounds, 3 rounds. Most of his fights are ending in the first 2 rounds. So Dillian has an ability to go ahead and test him in that way. Dillian's been well tested in that conversation, going the distance with a lot of fighters. That'll be where we'll find out if Moses Ituama is a good all-around fighter. Right? Let's see here. Shelton Moore says, are you sure you're not putting too much on that? Martinez is the next Alvarez? I don't know. I'm not saying he's the next Alvarez, like, as far as accomplishments. I'm saying fighting style. I'm saying the way he approaches boxing is very Alvarez energy. I'm not saying he's going to be the next Alvarez. That's not, I didn't mean it that way as far as accomplishments and accolades. But I am saying stylistically, if you watch how he fights, he has an aggressive style, lets his hands go, attacks the body really well, sits in that high guard. I don't know. Who would you compare him to if you were to compare him to anybody, Shelton? Who would you compare Lester Martinez to? Salute to Mr. Lightning Boxing in the building. Salute. I don't know who you'd compare him to, if not him. Let me pull up a little highlight reel here. Maybe I'm bugging. I don't think I am, though. I mean, that, and I believe that's who Terrence is using to prepare him for Canelo Alvarez, right? Let's see here. Let's catch Lester Martinez highlight reel here. Let's see. I don't know. Crazy with those uppies. Great mid-range game, letting his hands go. Yeah, man. I don't know, bro. Who would you compare him to? To me, he reminds me a little bit of a Canelo Alvarez. You know what I mean? That's what he reminds me of. I ain't gonna lie to you. You know what I mean? How old is he? Young bull, 29 years old. I mean, he's not no Canelo Alvarez for sure. He's not that. And comparing them to each other on that type of level. But right now, that's how I see him. Abahachok or Murtazaliev. I don't know, man. I'm gonna stick with the Canelo Alvarez comparison, man. I don't know. I don't know. Watch his highlight reel. Tell me what you think. I don't know. Not a Murtazaliev, because I think a Murtazaliev is way more disciplined and sits on his punches different. He's way more Eastern European. He's a very, cookie cutter Eastern European kind of fighter to a certain degree. Real high boxing pedigree. Bahachuk, yeah, at times Bahachuk does have that Mexican style approach. I rock with Bahachuk to a certain degree, but I still think he's more Canelo than Bahachuk to me. That's where I'm at with it. But we'll see in the ring what ends up happening that night in the ring with him. Another up-and-coming fighter that's going to be fighting on that card is going to be Fernando Vargas, who finally getting an opportunity here to do something significant. Fernando, son of junior to Fernando Vargas senior. This is Fernando Vargas Jr., obviously, fighting against an up-and-coming fighter in Calum Walsh. Calum having a great record. What's Calum's record? But Calum really been fighting a little bit on, like, the cards he's been fighting on. Irish young bull here. What cards he been fighting on? I want to say he's been fighting a lot on these little club cards. Kind of supposed to be the up-and-coming star for TKO's promotion. I think he'll probably be fighting over at TKO. I think this is going to be a decent fight. Let me see. I like Lester, however, he's flat-footed, minimal head movement. Feet aren't that fast, but very strong and aggressive. Yeah, he's definitely flat-footed, but I think he got decent head movement. Very offensive. Very dangerous on the inside. Very dangerous on the inside. What I'm going to do is I am going to put the link out because I don't got too much of a show today. I'll be honest with you. I just popped up because I said I would. not too much going on. I do want to talk about the Keith Thurman, Sebastian Fondora situation. I'm not that excited about it. I'm more so, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about Keith Thurman versus Sebastian Fondora. I'm just not that excited about it. It's an announcement. So be it. PBC having another inside fight. I don't know. I don't know how excited I'm supposed to get for this fight. We'll see what Keith Thurman does. No activity from this guy. And this fight is probably going to be a very dangerous fight. To be honest with you, I could see Keith Thurman getting stopped in this fight. And he's never been stopped before, but I can see Sebastian getting him out of there. I'll be honest with you. I don't see it for him, man. I definitely don't. Definitely don't. Let's look at what's going on over here as well. Rumors spinning the block about Manny Pacquiao fighting against Gervonta Tank Davis as well, which I kind of saw that coming. I wonder if he'll fight Lamont Roach first, though, being that I don't see. I mean, Manny says he wants to fight in December. Is that the fight they're going to try to put together? Yeah, Shelton, we're definitely going to find out. This is definitely going to be a fight for him. It's going to be a fight for him to show and prove. Salute to Ant McQueen in the building. Come on. Well, nobody want to see Thurman versus Fondora, let alone pay $80 for that. 100%. I think the PBC's just, I don't know. I'm the PBC's just hemorrhaging. They're not showing good signs at all. Nobody's asking for that fight. Salute, Shelton. How you doing, family?
What's up with you, big dog? You know, you're rapidly turning into my favorite channel, bro.
Oh, man. Thank you. Thank you, brother. Thank you, man.
You come on early in the morning, man. I give a boxing fix in early, and I can go all about the rest of my day.
Right. Try to get everybody up to speed about what's going on, man, before the drama starts, right? Get going in the morning before the drama and the nonsense starts going. You know
right.
You know it's gonna go.
Let's get into this, man.
Yeah.
I like Lester. I've heard everybody, singing Lester's praises, and I watched that Pro Box fight.
Right.
And it was a good fight. He looked really good, but he wasn't fighting anyone.
Right.
That dude he fought, I've never heard of him.
100%.
So let's see what he got. Because I've heard of Christian and Billy, and I know what Christian and Billy gonna bring. Now you can deal with that. You beating Billy, okay, you legit. Because if Billy don't do nothing else, then Billy gonna fight you. He gonna be in shape. And he's gonna fight you.
That's a fact. I think Mbilli, the thing about Mbilli that throws me off a little bit with him is just his conditioning sometimes gets tested just a little bit. I think he has a lot of muscle on him. And
all those muscles. I was gonna say that, all those muscles.
Yeah. So if you really push the pace on him, it can get messy. You know what I mean? It can get messy for him, but he's definitely a big puncher. I'm curious as to who are we looking at as the puncher in this fight, or are they both, because they both punching. They both really like
punching. They both punching. But see, the thing that really would lean you toward Lester is the work that he's getting over there in Omaha. He gets some good work in the gym.
100%.
He gets some real good work over there. So we gotta see, but that's But I'm like you, Clay. I want to see it. You got to show me. I don't, all that sounds real good. Let's see it. Let's see what you got.
100%. I'll speak to what they're saying about you, and I'll speak to what the hoopla is. But ultimately, it's up to you to sell me on what I'm looking at, because I don't know what I'm looking at until I see in front of the right opponent. Period.
Exactly. That's the same problem I got with Mr. Ituama. I mean, you're knocking everybody out in 2-3 rounds. Okay, that's good. What happens when they say round 8?
Round exactly. 9. I mean, it's going to be interesting because I think Dillian is going to take him into those deep waters, because I think Dillian is disciplined enough to know he can stay on that jab, and he can give Ituama something to make Ituama take his time. I don't think Ituama wants to rush in against Dillian Whyte, but I mean, I don't know. Ituama does. I like the energy Ituama gives. He's so stoic, so professional, so mature for his young age.
Right.
you know, you
How old
want
is
to
he?
think that
21?
he's like 20. He's 20. He's not even 21.
Oh wow, he's a young kid.
He's a young, he's a child to me, right? Like,
yeah, he's a kid. He's not even finished. He hasn't even finished growing yet. He's still growing.
Exactly. Exactly. He's definitely growing. I mean, what is he right now? Hold on, let me look at him right here. I think he's Ituama. Is it that way? Itauma? There we go. Yeah, he's standing at 6'4.5", damn near 6'5". People sleep, you know, he's a big dude, man. Yeah, he's a big dude. Moses is big. People talk about him like he a little small. He ain't small at all, bro. 6'4.5", 79-inch reach. Yeah, bro.
Short arms. 6'4.5", 79-inch reach. His arms are short.
That's what makes him look short when you look at him.
Yeah.
Let me look at Dillian right quick. I want to see what he bringing to the table. 6'4", 78 arm reach. So he's gonna try to take advantage of that reach.
Yeah, that's what that's been Dillian's problem his whole career. Dillian always has to get inside because usually he's fighting guys with longer arms than him.
Let me see here. Hold on a second. Let me pull it up here so we can take a look at it. Make sure that we're on here. Yeah, this is where I think is going to be the significance that everybody needs to look at right there. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Those rounds right there are going to be what everybody's going to keep their eyes on. You know what I'm saying? Because Moses Ituama brings, hold on, wrong way. I always spell his name wrong. He brings, let's see how it looks over there for him. This. You feel me? 12 rounds. I'm sorry, not 12 bouts. 12 bouts.
He had the
rounds.
Yeah, he had the rounds in. He ain't got the rounds in. Yeah, so he got to get some rounds in.
This is going to be where it could be interesting for him. He can show out and show us that it don't make no difference. But then again,
you don't like they said. You don't know if you can do it, Clay, until you do it. You don't know if you can do it.
Nah, for sure. Salute to my guy, Coach Eddie, in the building. Salute, Coach.
Hey, what's going on, Clay? What's going on, Shelton?
We just building, man. Open up the panel early today.
What's good, brother?
Coach, what's good with you, Coach?
Oh man, everything good, man. I seen the news that Keith Thurman's supposed to be fighting Fondura, man. Where that come from?
PBC, man.
Hey, man. Hey, do you remember? I'm gonna ask you guys this. Do you guys remember back like a year and a half ago when Keith was running around talking about Al Heyman owes me a favor?
Right.
Yeah. This is it.
He called it a favor.
I mean, I think
people seem to forget. People seem to forget that one time character PC. Am I right?
Say one more time.
I said people seem to forget that at one time. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I hear you. Yeah. Yeah, we hear you.
I said people seem to forget that at one time Keith Thurman carried the PBC. Am I correct?
Yeah, he was a unified welterweight champion. He was the next up to fight Floyd Mayweather. You know what I mean? That fight didn't end up happening, but he was that guy. Yeah. Everybody wanted to fight.
And he was and when they fought on NBC, when they fought on CBS, when they fought on Fox, Keith Thurman was the guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
It wasn't Wilder, it wasn't Errol, it wasn't none of them other dudes. It was Keith Thurman. He was the guy.
I do recall. That's why I do
recall. Y'all might think I'm crazy, man. You know, Keith only has one loss. I think that he could possibly pull this off. And I'm gonna tell you why, man. This is my opinion. Because Fondura, he could be had. He's shown he can be had. And I think Keith Thurman packs enough punch, to hurt this kid. I mean, we've seen the kid down, Lubin dropped him, hurt him a few times, and of course the Mendoza, and Fondura still has those glaring issues of just taking shots flush. He takes the punches and he's getting hit with 100% of the power. He doesn't roll anything really. He gets clopped. and his chin just happens to hold up. I think Keith has enough ring savvy. If Keith has his leg, it could be interesting.
Yeah, I mean,
I think a lot of people forget how good Keith was.
Yeah, that was, and that's what it is. It's the was thing. It's the was part of it, right? He's just a older fighter, and he's going to definitely have to be athletic and have some good legs under him because he's going to have to deal with a Sebastian Fondora who's going to be applying pressure. But at the same time, Sebastian is starting to tap into those physical attributes that he brings in the ring. He's starting to stay behind that jab, and he did decent against Tim Tszyu. So I thought he did good, to be honest with you, against Tim Tszyu, and I was very happy with what I saw because I wanted to see him fight like that for the longest time. I don't know, man. He can do it, but I can't act like I'm not favoring Sebastian. Salute, Aunt McQueen. How you doing?
What up?
Yeah, I mean, you should favor Fondora. You know, he's a younger guy, the taller guy, but
right.
Like I say,
younger.
I think his reach also his recoil is so slow. Like his jab is not a fast jab. It's you can time it very easy. I mean, I think he really uses that kind of as a range finder more than anything. And it's not like a punishing type. I don't know. Maybe it is. Maybe it looks harder than what it is, but doesn't have a lot of speed on it. I think that's why he likes to fight on the inside, because people with long, gangly arms, they let you have like Thomas Hearn type of whip on your shots where you can really whip them out there and get them back really quick. Fondora's not a fast fighter, and I think that's why he's able to get timed over those long shots. And I don't know. Like I say, Tim Tszyu is kind of tailor-made, no head movement. I'm just trying to make a case for Keith Thurman a little bit. You know, I think he may, if he can use that foot movement, he might be able to do something.
Yeah. What you think, Ant? You excited about
Coach? I'm with Coach Eddie.
Yeah.
I think that Fondora's jab has been a tad bit overstated in recent times. I think he's always been using his jab. But Coach Eddie made a great point. The recoil, first off, the hand is slow as hell to get back. Even in the fight, the last one where he stopped from Tim Tszyu, he got his nose busted because the dude was countering over the top of the jab with the right hand.
Right.
So he's slow getting his hands back home, and he also has slow feet. A guy like Thomas Hearns could let that jab go from range because he could move in tandem with the jab. Could punch on the move. You see Fondora, he throws his jab, then he's pulling straight back out. You got slow feet and your hands are slow back in home. You're going to get counted over the top. Lubin and Mendoza, I felt like they did a really good job of exploiting his lack of agility and mobility. Like Mendoza was like turning him, just giving him angles. And even if Keith has 75% of his legs, 75% of his legs are better than 100% of Sebastian Fondora's. And the last couple of times we've seen Keith Thurman, he still looked pretty good.
I mean, against who though, right? I don't know.
You know what?
I mean, you got to factor in the fact that it was Brock Jarvis. So.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, but I'm looking at
people like to break up age too, right? So it's like, let's keep it 100 now. They say Keith Thurman is 36 years old, but Bud is 38. But so it's like we forget how old Bud is too. Now you know you got exception to every rule. Now Bernard Hopkins was one of them guys that stuck around to 100 years old.
No. We're not forgetting that Bud is old. We're not forgetting that Bud is old. Don't get that twisted. We know Bud is old. He on his way out. We know that. But you show me Bud Crawford's Brock Jarvis. I'm waiting for that. Show me his Brock Jarvis.
I could probably, brother. I don't know. I'm not too high on. I ain't too high on Ngango. That's about it. Other than that, you
can't bring up no damn Ngango right now, bro.
Yeah, the question is, the answer is, Coach. Coach, you my guy. But the answer is, you can't show me Bud Crawford's Brock Jarvis because he don't have one.
Now, granted, Keith Thurman did get rid of Brock Jarvis, so Brock Jarvis didn't make him look human. You know what I'm saying? Like Brock Jarvis it would have been different if it was a competitive fight. Then it's like, damn, Keith. But he did what he was supposed to do, right? He got Brock Jarvis out there, and he made a statement in that fight to say that, hey, bro, I'm still somebody. I'm not just anybody. You ain't just gonna throw a Brock Jarvis in the ring with me, and this is gonna look pretty, man. Like, you know what I mean? You kind of insulted me. I'm gonna get this dude the hell up out of here. Get him out the hell out of boxing, or at least out the ring with me. But Ant, you look like you were trying to add some context to what you were saying, that you were trying to expand a little bit, and I want to give you an opportunity to go ahead and do that.
Yeah, basically what you got to do sometimes is look at how somebody moves irrespective. Look at their tendencies, look at their patterns, all that other stuff. Like, okay, can this guy move around laterally? Can he move back to front? When he throws his punches, is he falling in? Is he able to anchor himself? How does he go about generating his offense? And then oftentimes that'll provide the clues. Like we were just talking about Bud, right? Peel back, a Band-Aid for myself. Errol Spence was getting caught reaching. We didn't have to see him versus Terrence Crawford to know that he had a bad habit of overextending.
Yeah, coming over that front foot. Yep.
This is what I'm saying. So with Sebastian Fondora, with his jab, he's got a decent jab. It's accurate, so on and so forth, but he's slow as hell getting it back. And he often pulls straight back. At this point in time, at least what we've seen from Keith Thurman, he still has faster feet than him. His feet are far more educated than his. I'm not saying it's going to be a breeze or a walk in the park, but I do believe that there's a path to victory just based on footwork and foot speed.
Yeah, I agree with you.
It's there to be turned, bro.
No, I definitely agree with you on that. I think that the athleticism is going to be what Keith Thurman brings to the ring. But, athleticism is one of those things that show up like when, as far as age is concerned, that's the first thing that goes as these fighters get older. And it shows up in a weird way. Like they say that age shows up. You just wake up one morning and you're older and you don't realize it. You know what I'm saying? You just wake up one morning and you're not the same person. It hurts to do the things you were doing the day before without no problem. Now, Keith hasn't been active, which is a good thing, I think, for him in this situation. At 36 years old, the lack of activity may have preserved him. You know what I'm saying? As a fighter who hasn't been through the wear and tear of his peers who are at 36 years old, who have probably been through wars in comparison to him. His last three fights, last two fights specifically, last three fights, Brock Jarvis, Mario Barrios, and Manny Pacquiao. Manny Pacquiao, athleticism, at his age, was able to expose, I don't want to say compose. I thought that fight was a great fight. I thought outside of Keith Thurman getting put down in that first or second round, whenever it was that it happened, I thought he was very competitive in every round. You know what I mean? And it wasn't dominant. I think one of the scorecards had Keith Thurman winning. I think it was a split decision, right? Am I right? Was it a split decision?
Yeah, you got it right there on the screen.
Yeah, it was split. Yep.
It was split, right? Yeah, right here. Yeah, it says it right here. Split decision. Yep. So that was a decent fight. Then against Mario Barrios, he kind of showed that he was good in that fight, but Mario Barrios had spurts of just landing shots where you can kind of see Keith don't like that body work. You know what I'm saying? He had uncomfortable moments in that fight, but still dominating him because he was just a better fighter. I think with Sebastian Fondora, Sebastian's going to put a lot of heat on him. And I don't know that Keith Thurman weathers that storm, because I don't know that he stays clear of Sebastian Fondora because he has to be mid-range. He has to make this fight happen. He can't play the distance game. He can't stay on the jab and do all the things that he likes to do that I've known him to do. He has to take chances. He has to get inside and he has to pay entrance fees. You know what I'm saying? He has to pay a lot of entrance fees to get inside the club and party inside the club. And I don't know if he weathers that storm. I don't know.
Go weak side.
And Fondora is tough. People forget that Fondora is a tough guy. He is tough.
I think the key to getting Fondora out there, the strategy is you one shot him. That's it. You look, because you're going to hit him with 100% of your power. He does not roll shots at all. He takes everything flush, 100% right on the chin. There's no rolling. There's no taking any steam off of it because he gets clocked. If you go, even Tim Tszyu was clocking it. Even in the loss, he clocked him several times. And what I seen, the stab jab was working for Tim. He was folding Fondura in half when he stabbed him down low. And Keith Thurman's he's seen all that. I think Keith Thurman is a much smarter fighter than Fondura. There's a reason why Fondura wants to stay at 154. He has no ambition on putting on any weight. It's a reason why. Because he goes up any further, he's cooked. Because all those liabilities that he had, he got too many liabilities being there with anybody that has any type of punching power.
But here's the problem: does Keith Thurman still have the pop to put him down?
Well, I think if you remember,
Keith Thurman ain't had a knockout in a while, and like you don't count Ndangu, I don't count Brock Jarvis because he's a lightweight. I don't count him.
But I think, like I say, the foot. Like, that's why I wanted to see the Xander fight. I think Xander gives Fondura fifth because of the foot movement. I seen Javante Clark, and this is something that Fondura has never fixed. Javante Clark made Fondura look like an amateur. I know it was early in his career, but he's really the same guy. I mean, he hasn't changed much. He really hasn't. He hasn't changed much at all. He's pretty much similar. The jab is still slow. He's still getting hit with punches. He's still pulling. His defense is still very, very leaky. I don't know. To me, the jury's still out. I know he's the champion and everything, but a lot of these guys pick these belts up because they were vacant or vacated or emailed or however you want to put it. But I don't know. I don't think he's the best at 154. I mean, he's the tall order, but I don't think he's the best guy.
I don't think he's the best, but I think he's potentially one of the most dangerous. But Ant, I just think that I don't care. I just think 6'6", 80+ inch arm reach is just a problem. I don't care. It's just difficult and clearly difficult because he's been just being an issue. The way he handled Tim Tszyu on this second go around was just kind of like telling to a certain degree that
in that fight too, though. That's what I'm saying.
Which one?
In the rematch, that thing was leaking by like the third round.
Yeah, he takes
right
shots
hands over the top, man. Right hands over the top. It's gonna be another one of those. It's gonna be an open stance matchup, and with Keith having the better feet, you establish that lead for dominance. Place yourself on the outside of the jab. Just keep turning them. Keep turning them clockwise. Keep turning them.
So do you have Keith winning this fight or?
Well, I got it about 50-50 because I think that Keith still has the skills and the intelligence to pull it off. But the one thing that I really like about Fondura is the guy is a tough dude. A lot of fighters talk about going out on their shells. Like, he's one of the few fighters that, at least on the main stage, that actually fights like it. Like, he's one of them dudes you got to put out. Like, you got to put that dude out. That the first fight with Tim Tszyu was a damn bloodbath. He was bleeding all over the place. Never got down on himself. Kept fighting. Even in the rematch, got his nose busted. Like, he's not a dude that minds taking punches, getting busted up. So he's got a lot of fighting spirit. I think he's got a good inside game as far as being able to throw those short, compact punches. I really like his uppercut on the inside, short little hooks, but just like all around. I don't even think it's so much a matter of his skill being bad. He's just limited athletically. He's just limited, particularly with his feet.
Do you think that? Did you see improvements in him between his Tim Tszyu, the first fight, up until the second one? I'm talking about including the Tordell Booker and the second fight. Did you see the improvements in any areas that you wanted to see him improve in?
No, not really. I'll say the difference is, at least with the Tim Tszyu, with the rematch, because Tim Tszyu was catching him with pretty much the same shots he was catching him in the first one. I think in the second fight, we're dealing with a Tim Tszyu that just the confidence and his ability to withstand it just ain't there, man. Like, it's just not there at this point.
I don't know.
Early on in his career, he's always been pretty susceptible to getting dropped. Like in 2017, I think it was, he fought the dude on Wade Ryan, Tim Tszyu. He got dropped, got sat down early in that fight. fought against Terrell Gausha. He got dropped early in that fight, but he still had the confidence and the wherewithal to be able to fight through adversity. Then you fast forward to the fight with Sebastian Fondora. He gets that nasty gash on the top of his head. He comes back. He fights against Bachram. First punch he takes, what does he do? He paws at his head and looks at his glove to make sure he's not bleeding. Then he gets blitzed. He gets knocked out in that fight early on. What was it, 3 rounds, something like that? And then in that last fight, we seen it. Like, the dude just looked shell-shocked. But I didn't see any big difference in Sebastian Fondora. He's pretty much the same old Sebastian Fondora.
Yeah,
what I saw was confidence. Sebastian Fondora's confidence is through the roof. He's confident. He's not doing anything different, like Ed said, athletically, but he's confident and he's sure about what he does. And he's gonna go with it. And like I said earlier, he's a tough dude. He's not gonna lay down. You got to put him down.
Got to put him out, bro. You got to put that dude out. You see him get dropped versus Lupin. He hopped up, cracked his neck, and got back to it. I said, "Damn, he can fight."
But to that point that you just said about him being confident, maybe he was confident against Tim Tszyu because he already knew that Tim Tszyu was damaged good. He just seen this dude get demolished. That'll give you confidence.
He's pretty much been consistent with that, though. Like, I mean, through all his fights, he's a step to you fighter. You know what I'm saying? He don't believe you. Like, he's a fighter who just don't believe you. He don't think you're gonna hurt him. He don't think you can. He's a hard-headed, you know what I'm saying, kid. Like, he doesn't believe you. He's always shown that willing to, that can-do attitude inside the ring. And he doesn't care about a little blood. He don't care about getting sound in his pockets. None of that derails his he's a very confident fighter, man.
Well, I guess you would be confident if you was like a head and shoulders above everybody else and you're looking at the top of their forehead. With his, like I said, this dude has no ambitions on moving up, trying to quote unquote daring to be great. I don't see him doing that. He likes being at 154 because he's tall as crap. He moves up, and more power to him. He can make the weight, but will he dare to be great? Will he move up to 168? You know.
For what? For what?
I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Maybe it could be for money. Maybe it could be.
Coach. I'll be honest with you, though, Coach. I'm gonna go to Harvard pretty soon. I'm gonna go to Harvard. So why I move up?
Yeah.
I'm just saying. It's a reason why you're confident. You know, if you're tall as crap, you know, much bigger than everybody else, yeah, you're gonna be confident. Are you gonna be confident when you're looking eye to eye with somebody? That you gonna have that same confidence when you're looking eye to eye with someone?
Yeah, I see what you're saying. You're saying he's like a weight bully, pretty much is what you're saying.
Yeah, if you're a goddamn senior in high school and you go into middle school, yeah, you're gonna be confident. You know, because you're a friggin' giant. Yeah, but I'm not telling the man do what he want to do. He can do whatever he wants to do. But
so you gonna look eye to eye with Joshua? I mean, who you gonna look eye to eye with? You ain't gonna look eye to eye with nobody at 68 or 75.
I'm talking. This is what I'm saying. We seen this man get had by somebody who was 5'8". Put him to sleep. The dude is 5'8". Now you put him in there with a guy that's 6'1", 6'2". That's a whole different story. That's a different ball game.
That's fine. But that's fine. That guy did it. Can you do it?
Right.
I don't care what he did. Can you do it?
I think Xander was going to expose him. I'm gonna be real with you. And when that fight got put together, everybody was saying Xander was going to lose. I didn't feel that way. I was like, I don't think so, bro. I think Xander going to box that dude's head off, man. I think Xander is what Keith Thurman is, except taller. You know what I'm saying? I think Xander brings that pedigree and that movement, and he just doesn't have that pop. That's where it can get ugly. But I believe it goes 12 rounds. Xander pockets the lion's share of 12 rounds.
Absolutely. I think Fondura will be in there shadow boxing against Xander.
Yeah.
He'll be in there punching air.
Yeah. I think by like round 8, 7, 8, Sebastian is going to be frustrated. Real frustrated because he's going to know he's down and he's not going to see how he's going to get up. You know what I mean? Salute HLD. What's good, family? Colorado Spock, JR Spock in the building. Salute to you. Salute to Dragonfly Jones in the building. Mr. Lightning Boxing says, I believe Fondora's height and slenderness is actually a disadvantage if he faces someone with really good reflexes and some pop, but not sure yet if Thurman brings enough to the table. What do you guys think about that statement?
My sentiment exactly.
Mm-hmm.
My sentiments exactly. I don't know what Thurman got left at 36.
But what do you think about him saying that the height and the slenderness is a disadvantage to a degree? Like it can be used against him.
Somebody gonna have to show me that. Ain't nobody showed me that yet.
I mean, you fighting the Cordell Bookers and the Tim Zoos of the world. Yeah, of course you're not gonna see it. But like I said, when you step up, I seen for Tim Zoo folding this dude in half with body shots to the sternum. Dude was literally folding in half like a freaking lawn chair. So somebody like Jamal Charlo, I think Jamal Charlo put this guy to sleep. I mean Jamel, I'm sorry, not Jamel. Jamel will handle this kid.
Okay.
Getting off the couch. I don't even think he needs a tune up, to be honest. I think he can do it right off the couch, man. Because it's just too many.
Don't do that with Jamel. Don't do that.
No, I'm being serious, man. Jamel's a good fighter, man. A lot of people forget Jamel can fight, bro. Jamel is a tremendous fighter, man.
How many years ago? How many years ago?
Like two, not that many. Only like two.
But he's not that old though. I mean, Jamel, 34, 35 years old. He's still
gonna come back. Jamel gonna come back. And what do you think about what Mr. Lightning Box is talking about as far as the height and the slenderness? You think there could be some disadvantage in there, things to take advantage of? That it's not all just working for him, and it actually could work against him as well.
Not necessarily. I don't think it's necessarily the height. It's just the overall speed. I think with him, with Fondura, if it could incorporate more angles instead of pulling straight out and giving guys the opportunity to follow him out the back door, I think it would limit a lot of his defensive liability or lack of responsibility. Because that's the one thing I see with him. He's either too straight up sometimes or he's pulling straight out.
Yeah.
Just step over after these shots. And I think he would be fine with that. But times where you see him get caught is usually when he got his chin way up in the air or, like I said, pulling straight back out. Somebody in the chat said that the dude is a weight bully. I don't know how. Oh, it's Ross Cloud. I don't know how the man is a weight bully. I think that's just his frame. Everybody's body composition is different. The dude came in his last fight. I think he was like 152 or something like that.
Yeah, I think the dude has I think he has Maffrin syndrome. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that, but it's a syndrome where you're extremely tall, you have extremely long arms and limbs, and it's hard to gain weight. Because one of my friends had it. That's why I can look at him and say, "Oh, he looks like he has Maffrin syndrome."
Oh, he got an issue. That's why he looked the way he do. There's an issue.
Yeah, that's why he's so freaky. Yeah, I mean, I'm just speculating. I'm not a doctor or anything. I'm just looking at. You can look it up. When my friend had it, he was the same type of way. It's like a genetic disorder. Tall, long limbs, all that stuff.
And you see him on fight night, he don't look like he rehydrates anything crazy. He don't be looking super filled out.
Right.
Like when you see him, he don't be looking filled. He still be looking slight as hell. Like Rick Tim said, he got that minute bowl type of build.
Right. Shout out to Manute Bowl. Did Manute Bowl pass away? He passed away, right?
Oh dang, he sure did. Yep. I think one more. I got a question for you, real quick. Now we know Fondura throws a ton of punches. If you're a great counter puncher, you can take advantage of that also, because counter punchers rely on you letting your hands go.
Right. I think the speed and the athleticism of Keith Thurman is going to be on, is going to be on trial. Like, he's been talking a lot, 36 years old, been talking about making the biggest fights, been talking about, his return to the game. And you really, Keith Thurman changed at some point from being, I remember one time was a puncher. You know what I'm saying? When he was just doing everybody dirty, letting his hands go and stopping people and hurting people. But then he kind of transitioned into this athletic move around boxer type of dude. Is he going to be able to maintain that? Because he's going to have to be that athletic guy against Sebastian Fondora. I just don't see him being a puncher in there. Now, I get it, like Sebastian is slow, so he's easy to punch on, but is he easy to punch on and not get punched on back? I don't know.
Angles. Yeah. That's why I mentioned the open stance with Sebastian being a southpaw, Keith being orthodox. You got to make sure you're getting out weak side, man. Get out weak side. Stay away from the backhand. Stay away from his left. Just keep circling him to your left, to his right. Get on the outside of his lead.
Tear that body up.
Orbit him.
What do we think about salute to HLD in the building? What's good, family? Oh, you're muted, by the way. I don't know if you were trying to respond now, but while he's trying to figure that out, how do you guys feel about just in general this being a pay-per-view event?
No. Should not be. Should not have to pay $80 for this.
Not even 60. Yeah, man. Not at all, man. Not at all, man.
My apologies if I was muted. I didn't even notice.
What's
good,
the
rest of the card looking
good,
like,
guys?
That may determine whether or not it's pay-per-view worthy. If it's like a stat card, then maybe. But if this is just the main event and then we get Vincent Astrolabio or somebody like that, it's a resounding no.
I feel like when we're talking about stacking the card, we're talking about fights that are better than this one, right?
No, not necessarily.
We're gonna get Vito Melnicki. We're gonna get Vito Melnicki.
Better than what? So I can be on the same page. What fight are we talking about for pay-per-view?
We're talking about this Keith Thurman, Sebastian Fondora fight as a pay-per-view card for the PBC.
I don't even think that fight's happening, but no, it's not pay-per-view. It shouldn't be pay-per-view, but they'll make it pay-per-view. You know they will. I mean, they got no choice but to make it pay-per-view. But should it? No, it shouldn't be. As far as Thurman, I think Thurman has a very good shot at beating this kid. I mean, we keep on forgetting that it was Mendoza who knocked him the hell out. You know, this kid is susceptible. Right before Tim Tszyu, quit on the stool, them last 2 rounds, he was popping this kid. You know, it wasn't just enough to get the job done because he ended up quitting. But had he had the heart to keep on going, who knows where that fight would have turned into. I think Thurman, he's 36. He's only lost to one all-time great. I think he's got what it takes to rumble with this kid. Now we can't forget. I mean, Fondora has shown some growth in the last couple fights, and I won't take that away from him. You can see he's using his length, and I think what my man was explaining about earlier, he has some type of thyroid issue. So does his sister, which keeps them as thin as they are. I think it's a good fight. If they ended up making it, I wanted Fondora and Xander to happen next, or Thurman for Xander, because I think it's a great name for the resume. But if this fight happens, I mean, I think it's a good scrap. It's a good scrap, but I would only favor Fondora because of youth, and by slight, but I think overall the entire package, I think actually everything, experience, knowing how to box and all that all goes to Thurman. Actually, I take that back. I think Thurman could win this fight. It'll be the slight favor for me.
Okay. I like it, man. I like it, man. I do, man. I think I think it's an opportunity 100% for either one of these guys. Really for Thurman, if he's trying to make an argument as far as why he should be up in there with the big dogs. Well, this is a big fight right here. And I think a lot of people have a hard time figuring out how to get through with Sebastian Fondora right now. But I also think that we're looking at Sebastian Fondora evolving a little bit into a fighter who likes to jab a little bit more. But shout out to Ant McQueen who shedded the light on the fact that this dude is lethargic as far as his speed is concerned. He has none. So he's there to be taken advantage of with that right fighter. But then that height and that reach, I don't know. For me, it seems like a tall order, no pun intended, to deal with. I don't know, man. I think he's one of the most dangerous fighters in the division. I don't think he's one of the most skilled fighters. I don't think any of that, but I just think that height and that reach is just a pain in the ass. That's what I think. So, but that being said, though, what do you guys feel about the rumors circulating about Gervonta Tank Davis and Manny Pacquiao in this catchweight fight at 145?
Why?
I like it, bro. I like it.
I don't.
I think it sells a lot of tickets.
I do not care. If he fights Manny Pacquiao, I'm done with it.
Damn. Come on,
Dang.
man.
Come on, man.
Come on, nah, dog. You can't be
fight,
done with him
you
because he
got
fight
you
bandits.
got the core out there. You got all these challenges at 135 out there that you say is your division, and you fight a 47-year-old man. I'm done with you.
Damn.
Shelton
Well, let me
joined
get
my
the consensus of
bandwagon.
the panel, man. Oh, damn, bro. My man said he done. HO, where you at with this?
Yo, man, I've been done with the Globetrotter for years. So Shelton, come on board, bro. Come on board, man.
This will be the nail in the coffin. This will be the final straw. This one?
Not for me. That'll be for Shelton. I've been done with this guy for years.
You had no hope? Come on,
nope,
man.
Nope. I have no hope for this guy. I stopped giving any crap about what he does. You know, I talk about it because it's on the panel, you guys, but I have zero interest in Tank.
Wow.
He's not a legacy fighter, man. That's where Boots is heading the same way. But I mean,
Boots is gonna change. Boots is gonna show up in 2026. I'm telling you, I believe it. In 2026, I have a real good feeling for 2026.
We'll talk about that at another.
I don't want to hear nothing else from you, bro. I'm done with you. Go ahead, do what you got to do. Go fight Jake Paul or fight a wrestler, fight Seth Rollins, or do whatever. I don't care.
I need a reasonable thinker in the building right now, and I think Ant McQueen's gonna check the box. I need somebody who's gonna give Peace a chance. Ant, what do you think about this fight with Gervonta Tank? Potentially a fight between Gervonta Tank Davis and Manny Pacquiao.
Get that money, man.
Oh damn!
Get that money.
That and I ain't gonna lie to you. As nicely as you said that, what I heard was, yeah, I ain't studying that fight, but do you? That's what I heard.
Man, get that money. Get that money. I want all these guys to get paid. You better get that.
Oh,
get
me
that
too.
money.
I want them to get paid too, but I want them to fight.
Listen, I tell the fighter themselves. Don't be worried about what I think.
Well, what do you think about the fight?
You don't care. He's a manager.
No, he's not. And what do you think of the fight? Forget about. I wish him well as well. Go get your money. I'm down as well. I wish him well, but what do you think about the fight itself for you, as a fan of Tank, as a fan of Manny Pacquiao, as a fan of boxing? Where are you at in this matchup potentially being put together at 47-year-old Manny Pacquiao versus Gervonta Tank Davis?
Listen, man, it's all about the money. I mean, what other reason? What other purpose could this fight serve?
I mean, what does it serve for you as a boxing fan?
Nothing really.
Okay.
I don't love it. I don't hate it. I'm indifferent. I understand what it is.
No, I know. I already know. I think I got it out of you, bro. I think I got close as I was gonna get to getting it out of you. No, the fight is a clear signal to the boxing space, in my opinion, that Gervonta Tank Davis is done with boxing. I'll say it. He's done. He's out of here. He's taking his last bit of whatever he's got left, whatever last bit of love or passion or commitment to the sport or whatever it is that he has left for boxing. If he makes this fight happen with Manny Pacquiao and leaves all these other fights on the table, if he leaves Lamont Roach on the table, he leaves Shakur Stevenson on the table, right? If he leaves 135 to go fight a catchweight fight at 145, yeah, bro. To me, I'm not expecting much more out of him after that fight.
Cashing out. I get it.
And I'm gonna tell you why. And I'm gonna tell you why, HLD. I'm gonna tell you why. Because I truly believe this. I believe he got in there with Lamont Roach. And he fought Lamont Roach with what he had. And it wasn't enough. And I think that was the signal to him, like, man, you know what? Somebody gonna catch up to me and beat me. So I was supposed to get rid of this dude. And this dude, I gave him everything. And I couldn't do nothing with it. Let me just cash out and get the hell up out of here.
That was his final name.
Before I get beat. Yeah. Because I think he gave Lamont. People want to say he wasn't training or he didn't do this. I think he gave Lamont Roach everything he had, and it wasn't enough.
Oh no, man! It just.
I like the fight. Me personally. I like it.
Why do you like it? Talk to me.
Well, the reason why I like it, first of all, it's going to make a lot of money. That's the first thing. You got two fan bases coming together. You got guys who in their 40 that remember Manny, or 50s, whatever, who remember who Manny was, and then you got Tank, his fan base versus another fan base. So now you got two fan bases coming together, and it should do good numbers. Now, a lot of people going to want to see if the old man could pull it off. And they're going to be analyzing. If it happens, they're going to closer and closer it gets, they're going to be analyzing it. I like this fight for the simple fact there's a path to victory. Obviously, Tank will be the favorite, but there's a path to victory for Manny because Manny's bigger than Tank. Which that doesn't say much, but Manny has this freaking weird style, man. It's not in the boxing book. He throws a lot of punches from crazy angle, a lot of things you're not used to seeing, and he still has pop. He can still punch. So, is Manny going to be able to use it? I think he's a more experienced fighter for sure than Tank. I think Manny can exploit some of Tank's inexperience and possibly put Tank on his pockets. He still carries that amount of power. He can put a 135-pound guy on his pockets. And he still has decent enough speed and timing to land those shots. The legs are gone for sure, but it's an interesting fight. I'm going to lean towards Tank, but there's a path to victory for Pacquiao, and that's what's going to make it sell. Guys like me who think that Pacquiao may be able to pull it off.
I like it. I like what you're saying because we taking it away what we think about the fight, but now we're breaking down the fight. Breaking down the fight, I could see very similar to what Gamboa did to Tank and take him to deep waters all the way up through 11th, and that was Gamboa. So can Pacquiao do the same and go 12? Can he go all the way through and steal some rounds from Tank, which we've seen him lose to the Barrios and everybody, a few other fighters that he's fought with. Oh, to Lamont Roach. I mean, is Pacquiao as good as Lamont Roach today? I mean, there's a path to victory, like Coach Eddie was saying. There is a path. It's about the execution, but there is a path.
Yeah.
Right now, HLD, I'm not too encouraged because one thing about Tank is that the guy is good at recognizing patterns. Manny Pacquiao, whole lot of rhythm steps, bounce, bounce, bounce. He got to set up before he throws his shot. That's what got him slept versus what's my man's name, Marquez. Caught him leaping in. Clean on the button, time the rhythm step. So if it is a legitimate fight and it's not going to be any carrying being done, I think Uncle Manny going to sleep, man.
And is that going to be in the contract? No carrying, man? No carrying allowed?
Yeah, no carrying allowed. I think Uncle Manny going to sleep. And he was looking soft as hell to the body, too. You see he start complaining to Barrios when Barrios punched him to the body. Then when he went back to the corner, Bob Santos was telling him, hey, don't let him ref the fight. He ain't the ref. Couldn't take a body shot. Legs ain't really looking too springy. And we know that that's a huge part of Manny Pacquiao's game, being able to be shifty, operating on those angles, quick first step, all that good stuff. But with that being diminished and that same style, I don't think his style is necessarily aged well. And I think that's the thing that could get him slept. But my overall sentiments, get that money, man. Get that money.
Now, I mean, listen, it's a rumor, right? It's a rumor circulating that this fight is on the table as a potential fight that can happen for Tank. A big payday for him if he does make it happen. But it's still a rumor. It still is. What do you think the likeliness of this fight happening?
It doesn't.
You don't think so?
I think it's highly likely.
Yep.
I mean, the BBC they need a blockbuster, man, and this is it right here. I'm telling you, bro, this is the blockbuster right here, man. I think, like I said, I think it's intriguing. Like everything the Ant McQueen said is right on point. It's right on point. Everything he said, he could definitely get slipped, but there's also a possibility that Tank, doesn't let his hands go. Tank starts slow. Can he come out and get overwhelmed? So it's always gonna be guys like me who gonna be like, dang, I think Manny could pull it off. I want to see if he can do it. So that's what's gonna be the intrigue about this fight. You got the young versus the old, man. You got a legend versus, the now, the Tank, the great Tank, man. So it's gonna be interesting.
Hey, is it going to be in the contract? No voluntary knees and timeouts.
Wow.
Probably not.
So let me really state the facts of this conversation. I hate this idea. 100% think if you're a boxing fan and you want to see this, you're looking to, like Clay just said, retirement of Gervonta Davis. This is a dude they just dug up out of the grave. They got Keith Thurman coming up out of the grave fighting Fondura. This is the worst two fights that they could put on, in my opinion. First and foremost, Tank and Manny Pacquiao. Tank should be fighting nobody but Shakur. If he's not fighting Shakur, he needs to rematch Roach or he needs to fight Kid Austin. That's the only things that should be coming out of his direction. Only thing that should be happening with boxing. If he wants to retire, he retires. I don't care. Shakur is going to be the biggest fight out of all the people, including Manny Pacquiao, being stated. I don't understand why, if he needs a payday or the PBC needs to sell tickets or wherever the case may be, that's their ticket right there, Shakur Stevenson. But the fact is, they're looking to go a different route. They're looking to save money. They're looking to pay somebody Google's dollars to get Google's dollars to pay Tank some money and make a huge payday out of this. This is ridiculous. This is something that really would might as well just put Jake Paul in the ring with Tank. You know what I mean? That's what they were going to do, right? You might as well just do that. This is ridiculous. Pacquiao does not belong in the ring with Gervonta Davis. He's going to get killed. It is insanely child molesting situation. Excuse me, take that back. That is definitely a situation where a man is going to take advantage of a senior citizen that should not be boxing currently. And McLean broke down the intangibles of Manny Pacquiao, said it clearly. There's no risk or reward for Gervonta Davis besides beating a legend, right? What is the purpose? He can retire right now and go fight Manny Pacquiao. People will watch it as an exhibition. Why would I want to pay or want to see him demolish this guy? It's crazy work.
Yo,
Yeah.
man, my guy gets on this panel, the Raider fan, and then you say child molestation. What was that about, bro? I don't know what was going on.
No. I was, what I mean, I was gonna say when you beat, when people used to beat their kids and back in the day, but you can't use that
Oh,
terminology
child abuse
anymore.
you're talking about. Okay,
Yeah,
now I
thank
got
you.
it.
That's the word I was. Thank you.
Come
That's
on, man.
Yeah, that got
I'm
crazy.
like,
Thank you.
that
Thank
word,
you.
like what?
That's why. Yeah. That's what I meant to say. Yeah. Thank you for the correction. That was crazy, but I didn't
Yeah,
even
that
want to say
was
that.
unfortunate in there.
Yeah, my bad.
It's all good. It's all good. Salute Reyes Boxing in the building. My guy Angelo. How you doing?
Doing good, man. Doing good. Just getting ready to do some blood work. Thought I'd jump in for a second because I heard Manny Pacquiao.
I know. Speak on it, man.
So first off, I heard everybody's take. I don't know if Sebastian Fondura and Thurman is signed.
No, it's not. It's just a handshake right now. Supposedly,
it's a handshake. Yeah, if it does happen, I mean, honestly, I think Fondura's he's in a different level right now. So it's funny to me, man, because you and I talked, or we haven't gotten a formally chance to talk about it yet, Claymore, but we've messaged each other about it. So you had the two Japanese fighters dying, right? And then you had another Japanese fighter in a championship fight against a Filipino guy from June that also ended up going to the hospital for the same type of surgery. Who knows if he's going to be able to box again. As far as I know, he's still alive. And I say all of this to say that boxing is the only sport, as I've talked about on the show before, other than racing, and where there's a statistic for people dying. And the reason why I'm talking about that is these punches don't tickle. So for everybody who sits there and goes, well, I don't know, Fondura's kind of slow. Well, maybe there's a reason why Tim Tszyu got knocked out. Maybe there's a reason why all these other people are not. I mean, that his jab's getting better. He's sitting down on his stance more. And yeah, he takes punches, but can you honestly believe the Thurman will be the in and out guy fast enough now at his age? Because you guys are talking about Manny Pacquiao acting like he's 103 years old. Like, stop it, y'all. We just watched it with our own eyes. And Claymore sent me a very cool short on Andre Berto fighting Mayweather and how you kind of get mesmerized. You guys are acting like Gervonta Davis, who just looked mid against Lamont Roach, because everybody keeps talking about, well, Lamont Roach is great. Okay, maybe he's the WBA 130-pound champion, but maybe, because look at his resume and ask yourself, who at 130 pounds did he fight that makes you guys all think he's so great? Okay, maybe the reason why Tank looked mid is he's starting to be mid. So a mid Tank Davis who's going through all of this drama, who maybe not, half foot in, half foot out the door, is going to fight a Manny Pacquiao who just arguably beat Mario Barrios. Call it what you want to call it. Call it a draw if you want to. But he just got a draw with the 147-pound WBC champ of the world currently today, who's the same exact age as Tank Davis. And Tank Davis is the one that's going to be moving up in weight. So if Tank looked mid at 135, what makes any of you think he won't look even more mid at 145? Right? He's not going to get faster. That ain't going to happen. Right? And as far as I know, Claymore, you tell me, what fight have we seen Tank Davis in above 140 where he looked spectacular against an opponent who actually has fought at 147 pounds? Because last time I checked, Manny Pacquiao was beating up Cotto. Manny Pacquiao did beat Kurt Thurman. That happened. So again, I'm going off an eye test. And if Pacquiao Tank happens December 27th, which is when Manny Pacquiao is coming back in the Philippine news, that is what we have been told. He is coming back on December 27th. If Tank wants to get a Christmas gift, he can get some. He can get some. Because you're looking at a man right now who is, I'll bet heavy on Pacquiao over Tank if it's another plus 300, plus 400, because I don't believe in him anymore. And it was in this panel that we just recently discussed. I think it was a week ago, 2 weeks ago, maybe, Claymore. Is Tank Davis even a Hall of Famer anymore? Well, hell, you're going to need to beat Manny Pacquiao now to for sure convince us that you at least belong a little bit in the Hall of Fame, because all of us pretty much said, yeah, he'll probably get in because the standards have gotten low, but none of us really believe he should be a Hall of Famer because there's no one in his resume that makes you think otherwise. How do you think it looks if you retire at 30 and you ain't ever fought the best in your division? Right? So you got to beat Manny Pacquiao to be considered a Hall of Famer. So I think the fight is going to happen. My personal opinion, Claymore, I think that fight's going to happen. I think that's the fight that blocks Jake Paul versus Tank Davis. I think the Manny Pacquiao versus Tank Davis fight will happen.
Bro, super breakdown. I love it.
Wow.
I had a feeling it was coming. I love it because I had a feeling it was going to come that way. You feel what I'm saying? Pause. But listen, man, I think this fight happens. I was sitting back quiet about it because, it's rumors, and you know how rumors are, speculation, all those different things are concerned. But you checked a lot of boxes, Angelo. One of the boxes that you checked for me that I really thought was the biggest box was the legacy part of the conversation that nobody seems to think matters because Tank says he doesn't care about legacy. Well, the reality is, outside of fighting all of the best fighters at 135, fighting a Shakur Stevenson, unifying and making these fights that, in my opinion, are more difficult and fights that I think he wants to stay away from. At this point, that's what I feel, or at least the PBC is not able to pay him what he thinks he needs to get paid to fight that fight because Shakur doesn't bring the eyes to this. If he has any last bit of legacy in him, any last bit of before I leave, I want to leave my mark in this game, and I want to battle the the criticism that I'm going to face, because when Gervonta Tank Davis retires from boxing, if he does retire from boxing inside of the next year or so, and he doesn't make these fights happen, he's going to be criticized. I don't care. Conversations on these panels and on in boxing is going to talk about how, not about all of his accomplishments. They're going to talk about how he was able to make some of the biggest fights, and he looked like he purposefully didn't make any of them. The Manny Pacquiao fight, in my opinion, checks the boxes as a fight that could be a conversation. If he beats, even though it's a 47-year-old, 46-year-old Manny Pacquiao, it still puts something on his resume that makes him, that kind of gives him that ability to battle all the criticism that he's going to get for not making these fights happen, which I think he's going to get. I think he's going to get that criticism. I think the Manny Pacquiao fight checks the boxes, and I think that fight happens.
You know what?
Man,
Thinking about it with you guys, and I said earlier, I don't think this fight happens. But it took me back to what was PBC's play when they made that fight a draw, because that was PBC who made that Pacquiao Barrio fight a draw.
was a setup. That was a setup for Tank fight.
And so now and back then I was thinking, well, maybe they don't have Mayweather, right, to come on board to make this super fight for a rematch. And like, so maybe that's why they didn't. No, now it makes sense, because without without Pac-Man being a champion and making Tank come up, there's no belt, no sanctioning fees, more money in my pocket to make this bigger fight. And so I don't have to give up my 3% for the belt fee and another 3% that is for the sanctioning fee. So it's a total 6% when you're fighting for a belt. So they saving that money. And so now I can see why it would make sense business-wise. Because like I said, back then when they made it a draw, I'm like, why did PBC make it a draw? Why didn't they just give Pac-Man the belt? And you know what I mean? They would have been, no, it's because there's a bigger fight on hand for him in which they can save money for the fighters. And I can see the fight happening just on the business sense.
I think any of us could see it happening. I think the situation I want to address is, first of all, Tank versus Roach was not mid. There's just two fighters that knew each other. It's like any other rivalry. You're going to have somebody that just knows you better than any other person that you fight that doesn't know you. That's one. Two, we forget that Barrios got knocked out by Tank. Stopped. And Barrios was much more in his prime at that point, and he couldn't even touch Manny Pacquiao. And that was a draw. Then we got to think about the champion situation. Like, what does that even have to do with anything? I mean, if anything, it's I would say it's the Floyd Mayweather effect. Like, Tank just wants to outdo Floyd Mayweather in his career. If anything, that's the reason why he would take the fight, so he can stop and knock out Pacquiao, so he can have something over Floyd Mayweather's head, just so that he can rub it in his face later in the media, saying that I stopped this guy that Floyd couldn't beat. I mean, you got to remember that's really the consensus of the competition is Floyd versus Tank. Tank just wants to outdo this guy. All these other things, these criticisms and things of that nature are well deserved. Pacquiao is a great fighter, and again, back in the day, but he is. I'm sorry, Rez, I appreciate it, man, but there's no way, shape, form you can paint a picture for me that Manny Pacquiao can beat Tank. There's no opportunity there. Listen, I get it. I'm all for understanding that Manny Pacquiao is a great fighter. He came back. Maybe a second fight will make him look better, but no, there's no way. Tank is an assassin in this ring, and we've seen it time and time over again. So why would it be any different than a Leo Santa Cruz? Why not see Manny Pacquiao floored and maybe even hurt in this fight? I don't want to see that. I mean, I was mad about the Fondura and Thurman fight. I'm like, Thurman about to get killed. Like, y'all really want to see that? No, I don't want to see that either. But that I would prefer over Tank and Pacquiao. Only thing I would watch that fight for is for one reason. Watch how bad Tank beats this dude. Like, I don't even want to see that fight. Now, I guess you guys do, but that's not boxing to me. That's just a celebrity internet YouTube fight that Jake Paul and Floyd Mayweather likes to do, and Manny Pacquiao now obviously wants to come into a professional rank and try to beat Tank. I just, even at a catchweight, I think Tank gets more dangerous moving up. I think he hits harder. I don't know. Y'all can have it. But I don't want to see that fight. And if it does happen, it happens. I mean, like I said, the only fight for Tank right now and to ride off into the sunset is Shakur Stevenson. There's no other fight that I think the boxing space would want to see. If he does that, I mean, you talk about the duck jacket, and you said that's going to help his career, and his legacy. No, it won't, because they're gonna be like, what about the guys he's supposed to fight? Devin. What about Shakur? What about Loma? All these guys are going to come up on his jacket. And all they're going to say is Pacquiao was a 40-something-year-old fighter, 46-year-old fighter that he fought and he beat a legend. That's crazy. I can't even see that fathom. There's going to be criticism for the rest of his life. No way. But I'll land my plane.
No, hey, Claymore, my only pushback to it, and I understand. I understand. That's how you feel right now. Unfortunately, the boxing community, especially in America, is, I don't know, maybe a million people when they want to pay pay-per-view for a fight that they wanted to see, right? But on a mainstream casual level, people who don't know boxing any better, that's what made Jake Paul famous. It wasn't the boxing community that made Jake Paul famous. It was just the regular old community. And Manny Pacquiao is a name, and Tank Davis is a name. Tank Davis is the one American fighter that we all know that could sell a Barclays Center, that could sell T-Mobile. Manny Pacquiao is Manny Pacquiao. So, yeah, a lot of people are going to watch it, and it may not be you, but I bet you'll be a Pirate's Life. But
you right about that.
But if it's on pay-per-view, brother, that will definitely clear 1 million. It might go a little over. I think the only reason why it won't go to 2 million, might hit 1.5, is because look what the UFC just did. I don't know if you
still the fight.
Yeah, no, but I don't know if you've addressed this yet, Claymore, on your channel in any way at all. But the UFC just became free. That's a huge move, man. $7.7 billion to be partnered with CBS and Paramount, for the UFC and MMA to be probably the fastest growing sport in the last 10 years. And now they're going to have a free platform where people are just going to get to watch them, and actually learn about MMA, like learn more and more. If Tank versus Pacquiao can somehow not be $80 or $100 or whatever the craziness that Amazon Prime and PBC seems to keep cooking up, talking about, making a Thurman versus Fondura pay-per-view. I mean, all right. Yeah, you guys want to keep going that direction and swim upstream, that's on you. But Pirate's Life, Claymore, Pirate's Life. But in terms of what my man there was saying, everything you're saying is fair. I still have not seen with my own eyes Tank Davis hurt anyone above 140 pounds. When he hurt Barrios, that was at what was it, 135 or 140?
It was at 140. And I mean, there's
Barrios
an
was a big ass dude.
But Barrios was also under a rehydration clause and just wasn't that body work to people who are just depleted. It is what it is for me. I don't want to get too deep into that, right? But I think that's a convenient thing. But I don't think this is about whether or not we want. For me personally, it's not about whether or not I want to see the fight or not. That's not what this is about. What this is about is the likeliness of this fight happening and why would this fight happen. That's where I'm at with it, right? It's not about whether or not I want to see them fight or not. I want to see Tank fight Shakur. I want to see Tank fight, maybe even go to 140 and fight Keyshawn or fight. I want to see this fights. I want to see Tank fight. I'm clearly not going to get those fights. The question is, why is he and why would he entertain a fight with a Manny Pacquiao at a catch weight of 145? And two things check the boxes. A, that fight right there does check a box for money and legacy at the same time, because of what Manny Pacquiao brings to the table as far as his accomplishments are concerned. And B, I think he's on his way out the door. I think if he takes that fight at 145 and he goes up there in the catch weight, I don't see him coming back down to fight at 135, bro. You know what I'm saying? Maybe he'll fight at 140, fight some fights down there, but to me, it's a clear sign that he's on his way out.
There's money to be made, but I don't see what the dream that my man is just saying is 1.5, 2 million pay-per-view buys. I don't see that for that fight.
It'll be up there. No, it'll be up there. He's right at HLD. You know why it'll be up there? Because you have a global superstar, right? So I get that. I'm not
From
mad
where
at I'm not mad at
the world don't pay our pay-per-view price that would
it's
Philippines gonna get
okay,
that
but
fight
it's
for
still
free.
it's
I
okay, but they
mean,
still pay pay-per-view. That's the thing. And you
no,
got to remember, we have a large Filipino population in the United States and in Canada. So the pay-per-view
yeah,
model
they are
in those two
they
countries will be
like us
okay.
Latinos. We'll have 50 of us in the house and we'll pay one pay-per-view. It's not like they're all gonna buy
Well,
pay-per-view.
come on, man. That's just a
That's what I'm
stereotype.
saying.
That's wrong, bro.
No, that's my bro. So I'm putting that's how we do. I mean, there's no different,
I'm
bro.
just messing with you, man.
Not a stereotype. It's just what it is.
I'm
I
just
don't see it
joking, man.
cracking a million. I do think it could go up 800,000 maybe. I mean, but
It's gonna break
I
numbers.
don't see it. I don't see it breaking those
This is
type of
only to
numbers.
compete with Floyd Mayweather, man. This is just something to steal away
there
from
was
him.
not even that much excitement for the Barrios fight. What are we talking about? I
Yeah,
mean,
it is
it
what it
wasn't.
is. Free Smoke says, who even said he fight Manny? I think Tank fans have a hard time. I don't know if he's going to fight Manny or not, right? This is rumors circulating, just like the Jake Paul rumors were circulating. Tank fans have a hard time wrapping their mind around the fact that their fighter it may be entertaining big money fights to get out of boxing. And the thing that's funny to me about it is when he finally does pull the trigger on something, I think a lot of people's feelings are going to get hurt because I think you guys had the wrong idea about your fighter. And you would think that you guys had the right idea about him because I hear people defend his stance on making money and not caring about legacy and all those things. But you guys won't entertain the fact that this man would go and fight a catchweight fight with Manny Pacquiao. You guys would rather believe that that's some far-fetched idea that people are coming up with, but you'll sit there and be like, yo, he's all about the money. He doesn't care nothing about legacy. What does a fighter who doesn't care about legacy and only care about the money do? He entertains fights with catchweight fights with Manny Pacquiao 145. That's what he does. He entertains fights with Jake Paul for big amounts of money, bro. And you guys get so offended and you want to jump. He's not entertaining this. He's not saying that. He would never do that. Why? Is it conflicting with your mantra on what boxing is about? Are you really a legacy boxing fan on the low who's trying to hide it? Is that what it is? Is it the fact that you really like legacy and you value legacy and you have a hard time putting your fighter's name in the same conversation as somebody who don't care nothing about legacy? You make it sound like you don't care about it until he entertains something that has nothing to do with legacy in a real way. I think this fight is a realistic fight for Tank. I think it can happen. I think he checks the boxes for where Tank's mind is right now.
It could happen. It could happen. But
one thing
Clay,
you got to respect about him, and they've been saying it for years, whether you want to listen, you're hard of hearing, you don't care. They've always been saying it. We don't give a shit about legacy. We don't care about belts. We care about the pay. They've always been that, always stood on that, and always shown that. So 100%. I don't know what's the surprise to anybody. Yo, they said it loud and clear. And that, like I said, they probably said, I think Ellerby was loud and clear about that too, 3-4 years ago. And I'm like, okay, my man, I respect it because you're making your money. I respect that. I mean, but it's not my lane of what I care to watch. I want to watch some real legacy fights. I want to see you try to do your best versus another guy who's at his best. But you're not trying to do that. You you talk about weight bullies, but you're bringing up guys from 130 and shit. So, I mean, that's where I'm at. I'm okay with it that he's making his money. Good for him. But, yeah, he ain't no legacy fighter. And I know they said that loud and clear, whether you want to hear it, you don't care for it. Oh, he's only beat champions from another division. How about the ones in this division? Oh, I'm waiting for unification.
Yeah, he ain't never lied. You cannot, nobody on this panel can sit up here and say Tank ever lied to you. He never lied.
Never.
He
never.
He don't care about that stuff. He never lied to you. So people who want to make him out to be something that he's not, that's fine. If that makes you sleep better at night, cool. But Tank is what he is. He's looking for money. The biggest money he can get for the least amount of risk. That's what he is. That's who he is.
There's more problems with the fans. There's more problems with the fans.
The people say it's the fans. It's always the fans, HL. It's always the fans. And it gets to the point to where when you get into it with them too much, it looks like you're against the fighter. And the reality is, I think people like us who aren't the big fans of Tank respect him more than his own fans do. Because we actually listen to what he say and take him seriously. We actually listen to him, acknowledge what he says, and we allow him to be himself. And we just speak to him, speak to the facts of who he told us he is. I see it happen all the time. And I hear people in here saying you're assuming. It is rumors. We're speaking to the rumor, but it is a rumor because it's circulating because there's legs to it. It doesn't have to happen. I would love for Tank to completely crap on all these rumors by announcing he's fighting Shakur Stevenson tomorrow morning.
Oh,
I would love for him to just announce tomorrow and say he's going up to 140 and I'm fighting Keyshawn Davis. Yo, shut these rumors down, please. I would love it. But we know that's not what he's going to do.
Who's that lady that used to come on Oprah's show? This old black wise woman. She used to get on Oprah's show.
Gail.
Who?
Gail. That's just time out.
No,
Hold on. Time out. How you gonna ask a black man about a black woman on a black show? You was a savage, bro. I'm just messing.
No, man. I'm trying to. There's this older lady. She gets on the show. She's like,
you talking about Gail? That's her homegirl.
No,
Gail.
man, not her lesbian friend. I'm talking about.
Oh, damn.
This older wise woman. And she comes on there. She writes. She's a psychologist, I think, at times or something like that. But anyway, she's been on her show many a times, and she said, "Look, man, when someone tells you they crazy, believe them. They're telling you." So Tank is telling you, I'm not a legacy fighter. I don't care about belts. Yo, believe the dude. He's telling you himself.
Yeah.
Well, he also said he wanted to unify the division and be undisputed. That came out of his mouth after the fact. He said that.
He changed his mind, bro. Listen, I got no problems with like dealing with the data as it comes in. I'm telling you, I'm that dude. Like, I got no problem dealing with it. I got no problem with him yesterday saying he wants to fight Shakur. And then 2 days later saying, what did Shakur do? I have no interest in fighting him. I got no problem. You know what I'm saying? Dealing with that. I deal with it as it comes in because I'm all about the actual reality of the situation. I'm not about holding people accountable for their words and throwing it in their face and making them have to stay true to something they said back in the day. And, oh, now you're a lie. I don't care about that stuff, right? I'm about the realistic energy behind fights being made. Yay or nay. Because I'm about the actual fight happening. I'm not about everything else that gets caught in it. So if Tank said, 6 months ago that he wanted to unify the division, fight Shakur Stevenson, fight Devin Haney, fight Teofimo Lopez, fight everybody on the planet that made us excited, I was excited around that time. But then clearly he changed his stance. And that's where we're at right now, is where Tank is at right now. And this fight with Manny Pacquiao is a fight that's interesting as far as the conversation is concerned, because it does check some boxes. And Tank is looking to make the biggest paydays. And right now, there's an argument there to say that with Shakur Stevenson, the payday's there, but it involves Turki Al-Sheikh. And it doesn't seem like he's interested in working with Turki for whatever reason, for multiple reasons. So where's the money going to come from? PBC has to get the money up for Tank Davis to be in a big fight. The Lamont Roach fight, Tank hasn't shown interest in making that fight happen, guys. It is what it is. He didn't sign that contract. We talked about this yesterday. The whole idea behind this whole entire court case that he had being the reason for this fight not happening, I don't know if that's necessarily what it was, because that happened on June 15th, his little incident with his baby mother. That fight was announced to be put in August ever since April. He never signed the contract the whole time. When you watch Lamont Roach Sr. talk about it, he says he didn't believe the fight was going to happen anyway, because Tank was hesitating on signing the contract. So he doesn't have no interest in fighting Lamont Roach. If he's going to fight Lamont Roach, it's going to be based off the fact that the fight went to a draw and the status quo is that he lost the fight because of the knee he took. That will be him doing that off the strength of that. But I would not be shocked at all if he didn't walk away from that whole situation and say, where's the money for that fight? What made Tank not sign that contract for all that time? If you're asking me to speculate, I will. I don't think the bag made sense to him. And I think the PBC was working on getting that bag up for him. And he was like, that's what's up. I'll be training. Let me know when that bag come through and that you're able to guarantee me some money that makes sense. I'm waiting on you. Until then, I'll be training out here in Florida, doing this pad work, working out, getting ready for you. And we can announce that fight as soon as you bring that bag across the table. I don't know if that bag ever came across the table. Tank is showing us time and time again what he's about. It's not a bad thing. It's not about it being a good thing. I'm not knocking him. I'm just acknowledging him for what he's telling me he is. And Manny Pacquiao checks the boxes on making that money, not working with Turki Al-Sheikh, and making his way out the game and retiring. Oh, yeah. The reason the retirement came up, I see people in here talking about that people said Tank was retired last week. Nobody said, I'm not going to say nobody. Nobody I know said Tank retired. People were talking about him entertaining retirement. Why? Because he said 2025 was going to be his last year boxing, that he was going to retire at the end of the year. So if he's dealing with this court case and he's not fighting Lamont Roach, we're in August, getting ready to be September, October, November, December. If he doesn't make a fight happen within the next 3 months until he lets us know, he might be retiring because that's what he said. Nobody's making stuff up. We're listening to Tank. I don't think you guys are. Let's be honest. You know what you guys love to do? He was just playing. He was just playing. He wasn't serious. Tank was trolling y'all. Y'all love to talk for this man. Y'all don't want his words to mean nothing when it means something against what you're saying, but you want his words to mean everything when we hold him accountable to what he's saying. Come on.
And that's what you're saying too, Claymore, is let's hold people accountable for what they're saying. We're in the Turkey era. Last 24 months, the fight can fight the best. If you want some, you can get some. And the trajectory right now of Tank Davis, if we're being honest, if you look at his resume profile, he's about to go into his 31st fight, I think. Or maybe the Lamont Roach fight was his 31st fight. He's going to be 31 if he fights Pacquiao in December. You know who he's going to go the trajectory of if he can't beat Manny Pacquiao? If he cannot beat Manny Pacquiao, he will become Adrian Broner. And I got no hate for Adrian Broner. I got no hate for Adrian Broner, y'all. I got no hate for Adrian Broner.
It ain't that bad.
All right. No,
it ain't that bad.
Hey, see, I knew you guys were going to do that. Let me cook.
Because you comparing the guy with the whole issue,
Can I cook? Can a man cook? Claymore.
No,
Can I?
No, my bad. We're having a good laugh, but go ahead, brother. Yeah, for sure. Let me put some perspective.
Look,
Ray, that's biased, bro. That's kind of biased, bro. You really being biased right now.
Let him get it. Let him get it in. Let him get it.
Look, see, I can't even entertain y'all with this idea.
No, we want it. No, my bad, bro. Go ahead, man. Go ahead.
Come on. I thought this was a safe space, everyone.
It is a safe space, but it ain't safe from a laugh, bro. We're going to laugh at it if it sounds crazy. Go ahead, though.
All right. I'm just going to give you perspective on it, okay? 28th fight of Adrian Broner. He fights Paulie Malignaggi in a pretty, decent looking fight. That was there's a lot of circus stuff happening in the beginning or prior to it. Next fight was his 29th fight, loses to Medina. Then you start to wonder, I don't know, man. I mean, Broner was supposed to be AB, but really he was just what he said, which is about billions, right? So he keeps going on, but his next few fights are Carlos Molina, Emmanuel Taylor, John Molina Jr. Then he loses to Sean Porter, right?
Mm-hmm.
So now, after losing to Sean Porter, 34th fight, he's fighting Alakir Diev, Ashley Theopain, Adrian Granados, loses to Mikey Garcia.
Mm-hmm.
Has a questionable draw in his 38th fight to Jesse Vargas, right? Questionable draw. 39th fight, loses to old ass Manny Pacquiao, who at the time was already, I believe, 40. So all I'm saying is, now again, I'm not comparing that style of record apples to apples, but if Tank has been saying, well, I just want to retire, or I am going to retire, or I'm tired of boxing. Now be fair and look back at his career and ask yourself, who did Tank Davis fight that was a fighter or a champion at their peak time without any rehydration clauses, right? Without any of the funnery, I'll say.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you got to go all the way back to Jose Pedraza in his 17th fight, in my opinion, right? So having said that, so having said that, Claymore and panel, all I'm trying to say is we live in a time now where you actually have to be disciplined to become an elite boxer. You actually have to love boxing and love working out and love doing all of that stuff, just like Usyk talked about. And there's a reason why you got someone like Alexander Usyk putting belt to ass to a 27-year-old champion who had just made Anthony Joshua look like a rag doll to the point where every motherfucker's trying to challenge Anthony Joshua now. I mean, Andre Ward coming out at 41. I can beat Joshua. Like, man, did y'all forget Joshua folded Francis Ngannou like a chair? Like that, the power is real. So anyway, I say that because in this Turkey era, if you're dedicated and you're training all the time, you can go ahead and get any fight you want. All right. But if you got some disciplinary issues, no matter who you are, no matter what the reason is, you're probably not fighting the best. You're probably not gonna. And the most recent example of that is Keyshawn Davis. He had a disciplinary issue, couldn't make the weight. What's he doing, y'all? I'm gonna take a year off. Hey, bro, take a year off. No problem. Get yourself right. I would rather Tank Davis for real retire. Take 2 years off. Take 3 years off, bro. Come back when you're 34 and really ready to give it your all in fighting. Now let's see where you're at. Okay? It's not like we've never seen someone get robbed of their prime career before, come back and be elite and be great. We've seen this before. We know it can happen. But if Tank is going to keep telling us, like Claymore's telling you what Tank is saying, it's not Claymore saying this, it's Tank Davis saying this. Tank is all about the money, and that's fine. That's fine. Come get some with the Filipino elite great. Come get some, because I would love to see Manny Pacquiao. Do you know what the narrative is going to become if Manny Pacquiao beats Tank Davis?
Yeah,
maybe he can beat Floyd Mayweather. And Floyd Mayweather will come back with his 49-year-old self in 2026, and Mayweather Pacquiao will be huge. Now, if Tank Davis beats Manny Pacquiao, which all of you, just 90% of you in this panel and probably 100% of the chat is going to be like, oh man, Manny Pacquiao is going to get killed. Okay, fine, whatever. Manny Pacquiao loses to Tank Davis. Well, now Tank Davis could be the WBC interim 147-pound champion, which is probably what's going to happen. There's going to be a belt. And then he could actually fight Barrios again in a rematch, would make sense at 147. He knocks Barrios out again as a 147-pound champ. And now to Claymore's point, oh, well, he's definitely a Hall of Famer now. I mean, we're talking about right now Crawford jumping up 2-3 weight classes. Well, didn't Tank just do that? He went up from 135, went all the way to 147, beat a legend in Manny Pacquiao, became the WBC interim 147 champ, then knocked the hell out of Barrios when Barrios was still only 31, and now he's the current 147-pound WBC champ, and Tank Davis is only 31
too far down the line, bro. We can't see that far.
I don't agree with that, because if that's a catchweight fight, there won't be no.
Yeah, it's at 145. It won't be at 147.
Yeah, but the WBC will do an interim.
He don't work with the WBC. He already said he don't like working with the WBC. That's something out of his mouth that we heard him say.
Tank said that?
Yeah, remember they tried to offer him the what's the name belt, and because they stripped him of the title he had back at 126 or 130. They stripped him of the belt. Mr. Whyte, he don't mess with them. But I mean, anything can change, right? It's boxing.
I agree and I disagree. But first of all, I adamantly disagree. No, I will never compare Tank Davis's career to AB's career. I just won't do it. I won't do it. I just can't do it. I won't do it.
If he loses to Manny Pacquiao,
I don't care. I just won't do it.
That was my issue. That was my issue, Clay. Now, if you just said Shane,
I was thinking Prince Nassim.
You're breaking up, Sheldon.
Yeah, you're breaking up. Yeah, I will never do that, right? I will never do that. Tank, no. I feel no way.
He has to do a lot more to be compared.
Yes, a lot more. I can't even think of doing it. I feel like that would literally be, I'd be hating if I said that. I would 100% be hating to say that. But that being said, right, I do agree with you that a loss against Manny Pacquiao would impact him in a crazy way. It would really not be a good look. If Tank were to go up to 145 and lose against Manny Pacquiao, 47-year-old Manny Pacquiao, and we know the track record he has of not fighting Shakur, not fighting his any other champions in his own division, moving around strategically in a way to where a lot of people want to play the game like, oh, he fought whoever was in front of him at we know, you know what I'm saying, and other people know different, that this man was moved around strategically. Fights were made, picked stylistically, and we got great, exciting fights entertainment-wise watching it. But at the end of the day, the fights we wanted to see, we didn't get. And then he goes to 145 and the catch weight and loses to Manny Pacquiao. Yeah, that's going to be a bad look. That's not going to be a good look. And I'll add to it, and I'll say I like the whole entire Floyd Mayweather twist you put at the end about if Manny would have beat Tank, and then Floyd would have jumped in all of a sudden and be like, yo, that would be crazy. That story would be so crazy. But yeah, no way, man. AB, no, I'm not going to do it. I feel like I owe better than that.
Clay, even if he won, he could knock Manny out the ring.
Uh-huh.
Boots smoking in the ring. Thomas Hearns versus Martin style. That man still wouldn't get any credit for that. That's why I say you might as well just get the money. And realistically, even at 135, outside of Shakur, who could he fight right now that people would just be saying, man, that was fantastic?
Teal.
This guy is going to the Hall of Fame. If he beat Raymond Moratai tomorrow, would it really move the needle like that?
Nope.
They'd be like, well, who did Raymond Moratai beat? If he were to go
Russell,
and beat
if he beats any of the champions in his division, me personally, I don't know, because I see where you're going with it, because I mean, I just think this space is casual enough to not give him any credit for anything he does. But me personally, no, you beat a champion in your division, I'm going to give you the respect for beating the champion in your division. You beat Raymond Moratai, unified, become an IBF and WBA unified champion. You become I'm giving you your respect. You beat.
Who did Raymond Moratai get to beat to get that belt?
I don't care. Me personally, I don't care.
I'm not talking about you. I'm saying this.
No, I agree with you.
Held.
Right,
this is the conversation that will be held.
You're right.
Hey, shout out to New Country guy with the super chat. That's a good statement right there.
Yeah, he says Tank won't F with Turkey because Turkey equals actual risk. Yeah, I mean, I think that's also the reality of it. Even when Tank communicated as to why he wouldn't fight Devin, was risk management, right? Was the fact that this goes to 12 rounds. Am I going to get a fair shake? This, that, and the other. I think working with Turkey does, I think working with Turkey is a step closer to a loss for Tank in his eyes. Even if his fans don't feel like it is, I think Tank is completely communicated that this man's going to get me a loss on my record, whether I deserve it or I don't deserve it.
I think Tank is in a current space where he's not happy with the paper.
Oh yeah.
He's not happy with he's not happy for whatever he got paid for to fight Roach, and then all the shit that he's getting for it. He's not happy because what happened to that Amazon deal, supposedly, because if he had that 8-fight, whatever it was, $240 million deal, we wouldn't be talking about him trying to make a paper. He's got a guaranteed no matter who he fights. And that's not what's happened. He would have fought Lamont Roach again and got paid $20-25 million. So that deal is not real and not true in itself. So his problem that he's got right now is I'm the cans that you guys are feeding me. I'm not getting the money that I used to get, and now who's gonna pay me to get that? So do I gotta fight Jake Paul? Do I gotta fight a Manny Pacquiao that's gonna bring me my 2025? Who do I gotta fight that I could keep on winning and make that type of paper that I've been used to doing for the past 5 years? And that's where he's at. He's not happy with his team.
No, I agree with that too, because I agree with that. Even if you look at if you're looking at the landscape, if you're looking at Tank, I mean, be honest, man. You're looking at Canelo Alvarez, $150. You're looking at Bud Crawford, $75-80 million, one fight. You're looking at that, and you said yourself, "I'm a bigger star than these guys." Maybe if you are or not, that's to be determined. But in your own mind, you may be. You're looking at what Ryan Garcia got, $20 million to go there to lose against Rolly. Didn't have to sell any tickets. Didn't have to do anything. Just show up and fight. And you're like, man, this is not right, man. I'm a star. That would take it saying I'm a star. I deserve my money in escrow. I deserve guaranteed paper, whether I sell a pay-per-view or not. Treat me like Canelo. And even Coach Calvin said the same thing. Y'all calling Tank Davis the face of boxing. Treat him like the face of boxing. pay him like the face of boxing. And PBC's not. They're not doing it. They don't have the money. The budget's not there.
So that's why they leaned on all the people to pay Canelo for that fight. MGM Grand, doing what do you call it? What's the name fight with Matchroom to make that Medea fight happen? I'm sorry, Oscar. Like they did a collaboration, right? They did all these things to bring that money up so that they didn't have to forfeit all the money. We all know that, but I don't want to talk about the PBC. I want to get back to what Clay said. I mean, is it important that we can see this fight happening, Clay? Yes. There is a great and honest way of saying that it could happen. You know what I mean? It could manifest into something. Speaking on it on some like real talk, I don't want, like I said, I don't want to see it. I don't know if nobody cares what my opinion is, but I don't want to see it.
No,
I think the
I don't
Shakur
think
fight makes all
anybody
this.
wants to. I'm not saying anybody, but I
Yeah,
agree.
I know
with
what you
you.
mean.
I agree with you 100%. Like as far as is this a fight I want to see? No, it's
Yeah,
not.
this
Even
isn't a fight we're asking for. Nobody's
yeah,
Right.
asking for the
exactly,
fight.
exactly.
That's where
But
that's
he has
what
to keep it real and say it in his
right
own way. He knows how to say it the right way and articulate it.
right.
But he was like, shout out to Tank. I hope he gets his
That's
money and that's good.
Right, and here's
and
another
just,
point.
let me finish real quick, HLD. What I was going to say is, and to I mean, just to make it to Angelo's point, you know what I mean? Like this is a fight that may happen because anything could happen, right? It's a competitive fight, but it just brings the numbers no matter what. It's a safe fight in a safe place for Gervonta. But what does it say on the other end of that for his career? Like we already questioned some of the fights that he had, right? We get back and forth with people on is he got a legendary career? Does he have a legacy career? Does he have a Hall of Famer career? Like we already go into that. What does this do? This gives him a plus or a minus. I mean, you're literally not fighting your mandatory, your rematch, and the guy that's been calling you out for the last year and a half. In my eyes, to fight old man Pacquiao for a bag. Okay, so now you're putting the money first, but does that help your career at the end of the day?
Oh, hold on a second, Ray. I don't mean to cut you off. We got 50 people in here. Hit that like button. I just looked at it. I didn't look at it the whole time. You guys are diabolical, bro. 27 likes. Stop playing, man. Hit the like button. My bad, Ray. Go ahead.
No, that's cool. I was about to land the plane anyway, but yeah, just in general, I just don't see it like, in my opinion, I just don't think that's a generational fight. That's a generation versus generation fight. That doesn't change what the fight will be at the end of the day. That's all. I think there's a lot to be said in that. I mean, I think we got a little off topic about other things, but it's cool. I don't want to kick Tank's back in. You know what I mean? It's not his fault.
We're not kicking his back in, but
No, I know. That's what I'm saying. I don't want to do it. I just want to state the facts that I'm not doing it. You know what I mean? I respect the man enough to not see him go down that path and fight a Pacquiao.
If you think about another thing that
wait, hold on a second. Wait, HL. Let me just respond to this. So shout out to 2 Cents Boxing, by the way. Y'all go subscribe to her channel. Says, how do y'all know he's not fighting the rematch? Well, we're not saying he's not fighting the rematch, but I got a question. How do you know he is fighting the rematch? I mean, I don't know that he's not fighting the rematch, right? I know that this is what I know. I know he does not have a fight signed right now. How about that?
We don't know that he's not, but we also don't know if he is.
Yeah, I don't know that he has I don't know that he has a fight signed right now. That's one thing that I don't know, right? So that means any given Sunday, anybody can get it. Roach can get it. Manny Pacquiao can get it. Shakur Stevenson can get it. Keyshawn Davis can get it. He could fight anybody. Anybody's on the table for him to fight right now. But the question is that you're asking us is how do we know he's not fighting the rematch? Well, we don't. I got a question. How do you know he is fighting the rematch?
Yeah, I got a question for you, 2 Cents. If he's all about the money, do you honestly believe that Turkey wouldn't give him the bag if he was willing to come to Riyadh and fight Shakur Stevenson?
Wait, Reyes, are you saying it's not about the money, it's about the L? Hold on a second. 2 Cents says, I didn't say he was. I heard y'all said he wasn't. You didn't hear us say he's not fighting the rematch. That's not what you heard.
I mean, Roach don't even know if he's gonna have a rematch.
I feel bad for Lamont Roach.
Ask Roach if he's getting a rematch.
You know, the other thing that Turkey has done that's got to bite Tank is that for many years, the thing about Tank is, oh, you fight Tank, you're getting the bag. Well, Turkey has made that point irrelevant because now all
Yep.
his contemporaries are making a bag over there. They're all making that bag, and so the whole thing about I want to fight Tank because I'm gonna make that bag. Turkey has eliminated that because these guys are
Oh my
getting
goodness.
paid, and they're getting paid
Um.
very well, very
Wait,
well.
well, hold on one
All right,
second,
Clay. Can I
HL.
defend this, Clay? Can I defend this, Clay?
You want me to put it up on the screen? You want to speak to it or
Yeah,
this? Okay.
because I could swear we're all talking the speculation over the fight
Exactly. Go ahead.
with Manny Pacquiao, and I automatically said if he's not going to fight Roach, if he's not going to fight his mandatory, he should fight Shakur. That's the only fight I see him doing. That's all I said. I didn't say anything about he wasn't fighting
Nobody
anybody.
knows what he's going to do. Nobody's speaking on this panel about for example, I said earlier, I don't think he's interested in that fight. And I stand on that. I don't think he's interested in fighting Roach again, right? But we're all speculating and we're doing our best at assessing the information that's out there for us to assess. Nobody knows what Tank is doing. We don't have no idea what Tank is doing. Only Tank, God, and whoever Tank holds close to him that way. And I don't even think, like Calvin, I don't think knows what Tank is doing. Kenny doesn't know what Tank is doing. Nobody knows what Tank is doing except for Tank and maybe Al Heyman, if he's even still coherent to speak, because we haven't heard from Al Heyman in like 4 years, right? But at the end of the day, we're all speaking in speculation. Nobody's pushing out here anything more than opinion.
Yep.
So no, nobody up here is saying that he's not fighting the rematch in an absolute way. We're speaking on what we believe.
Yeah,
Just like
and
you
also,
guys are.
we're also speaking on what's been said.
Right.
And Tank wants the bag, man. It's not like he hasn't said that. So let's not, you already pointed this out, Claymore. He's not trying to line up the killers. He's not like line them up and I'll knock them down. He's not saying any of that. He wants to get the bag. And by the way, I didn't point this.
Oh, you said why do we think? Okay, that's not what I thought you said before. Gotta relook at it.
I said he wasn't.
Yeah. So Claymore, I also didn't point this out.
This is what you said here. You said, how do y'all know he's not fighting the rematch? You see, if you put think in there, how do y'all think? Then that changes it, right? But the no thing, it's interesting. And excuse the confusion because that throw us to believe that you heard us say that we know he's not fighting the rematch.
Yeah.
But I appreciate the change on the word because
you're supposed to know that. You know what she means.
I'll acknowledge. I think that he doesn't want to fight the rematch.
Now, I was going to say this.
You didn't say why do y'all think when capital letters. Don't forget that this chat is inconvenient. The inconvenient thing about this chat is we can scroll back and pull it up.
Yeah.
What you said. So it is what it is.
You got to use your words. Use your words.
Us men up here, you got to tell us exactly what you're trying to say because we're gonna take what you're saying as what it is. And
I'm trying to tell you. I appreciate you, 2 Cents. You know I love you, girl. You know I love you, girl. Go ahead, man.
So no, and the other thing I didn't point out yet, Claymore, unless you know something that I haven't heard yet. Manny Pacquiao for sure has already told everyone in global Philippine news that he's fighting December 27th. I haven't heard Turkey tell me yet when the December Japan centric card is going to be in Riyadh. What if that's December 27th? What if it's Manny Pacquiao versus Tank Davis in Riyadh on December 27th?
Oh, that would be crazy.
I already said that he's going after that Turkey money, man.
He's gonna have to because let's be realistic. How much money he's gonna get out of fighting Lamont Roach? Like at this point today.
I mean, even Shakur though, right? Even
Shakur would be a bag.
How much money can he get out of fighting Shakur? But if he fights Manny, like
Turkey's going to put that fight on.
Yeah, because Turkey's that guy. Turkey's the type of guy who'll be like, I will give you $100 million if you fight Manny Pacquiao.
So if we put it in perspective of what Turkey said that he's going to make that fight in December with taking Shakur. If now what I want to be clear about, if Manny Pacquiao is going to fight on the 27th, who's to say it's not Rolly Romero? Or it's not a rematch with Barrios. This is WBC number 1.
Well, I mean, Ray, who's to say it's not Ryan Garcia? If we're
Oh
being real
God,
about it,
that's
you
true.
know,
No, you're right. But
you
yeah,
know,
Ryan did say he's coming back in December, didn't he?
yeah, Ryan did say that. And Ryan says he wants a significant fight or he wants to get a rematch back with Rolly. I will. Okay, all of this stuff that we're saying, and again, we're just having fun with the speculations.
That's it.
But what I will say is, it's sounding more and more factual each and every week that PBC is becoming nothing now. Like literally, like I don't know what's going to happen to their company, but you got Benavidez fighting in November for free, already, and then all you got left is Tank. Who do they got left? Claymore. Would I mean?
Nah, listen, man, the
Keith
trajectory is
Thurman,
bad.
man.
No, the
Fondura.
trajectory is bad. The trajectory is bad. I ain't gonna lie to you. People don't want to
Caleb
talk, don't
Plant.
want to speak to it. I find it to be. Listen, man, I will always respect the PBC for what they did. They put on some great fights when they were in their bag. They were in their bag, bro. They were putting on the biggest events. They were making it happen. But ever since they split from Showtime, bro, you've been seeing it's been a wah, 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 wah. It gets
You
worse
could
and
say
worse.
is
They
when
start
they
off
were
the
in their
year.
bag, they had bad fights. When they were in everyone else's bag, they had good fights.
I mean, however you want to look at it. I remember when the PBC was in my opinion, the American boxing, you know what I'm saying, company. I feel like they were up there. They were doing it. They were even with all the backlash they were getting for overpaying fighters and doing all this and all that, they still were them. But, you know, I feel like there's an inconvenient truth here that is resonating throughout the space where everybody's having to acknowledge it. And if you're not, and you feel like by not acknowledging it, that's you supporting the PBC, I respect it. You know what I'm saying? That you feel like that's the way you support them. I respect it, but I don't care as much as everybody else does. I can speak to the elephant in the room a little bit more frankly and say that Keith Thurman versus Sebastian Fondora, not a pay-per-view fight. Sebastian Fondora vacating his WBO title in order to make a fight, a headline fight for a fight for Tim Tszyu and him to fight and save everybody money and get no limits money involved in it is not a good sign. David Benavidez fighting over in Riyadh season, you know what I'm saying? And his PBC's inability to facilitate, or Tom Brown inability to facilitate an offer that would pull in a Caleb Smith to fight in America in Vegas, or an Anthony Yardy that he has to go fight and headline a card in Riyadh season. For the PBC, it doesn't look like they're able to facilitate the biggest fights for their biggest stars. Errol Spence sitting out, not fighting at all, keeps throwing signs out there how interested he is in boxing, that he's not gone. Don't forget him, but he's still not popping up on the card. Not a good sign. Jermell Charlo sitting on the sideline, not making any fights happen. Bad sign. You know what I mean? Like when you look at all these different pieces and all these different things that have been moving with the PBC, it's not a good sign of their strength and their stability and their return to glory being anytime soon. It just doesn't seem that way. Now, I'm not ready to sign them off completely and say that they're going to go out of business. I'm not ready to go there because I believe at the end of the day, one thing that the PBC does have that people sleep on, which is funny to me because a lot of PBC supporters throw shots at this, is the fact that Turkey does work with the PBC. He does work in partner with Ludacubis. And that right there is a light at the end of the tunnel for anybody who wants to see the PBC return. It makes me laugh crazy the way PBC fans throw shots at Turkey when the reality is that there's a good chance that the future of the PBC is going to be intertwined with Turkey Al-Sheikh's grace and mercy and openness to negotiate and work with Ludacubis on putting a lot of these fights together that doesn't seem the PBC is able to do on their own. But I land my plane and say, yeah, it looks shaky over there. 100%.
You mentioned a couple of names that the only way we're going to see them again is because PBC is willing to pay them if they can get the money. That's going to be Spence and that's going to be Thurman, because I don't think Turkey's interested in either one of those guys. You know, I mean, he's not interested in either one of those guys, or he would have had him out already in one of his undercards, right? So he's not interested in that. And so these guys are waiting, hopefully, for a last, you know, hurrah that PBC can get them a paycheck. And, you know, they're risking whatever time is left for themselves. That I can say. So Yeah, PBC doesn't really have much left. I mean, what's on? Who did they have? My man was that. What's the names that they got that people are gonna be clamoring? Oh yeah, man, we wanna see that in Turkey. Yeah, pay him whatever $5-10 million. I don't know who they are. I don't know who they are.
I mean, I think it depends on the opponent of the fight of a Charlo or Earl Spence to see.
52 people in the building. Let's get the likes up. Let's get the likes up.
I mean, the opponent is always, you know, what I mean, who helps sell the fight. So if it's one of those guys, I mean, they are big names in past, you know, couple of years. I still think they're big names today. Yeah, I mean, people want to see their comeback, but it just depends on their opponent. I mean, they come back with something crazy like, let's just say Spence and Virgil Ortiz is for real. That's going to be a fight that I think Turkey will pay for. Absolutely.
Spence and Thurman for a title eliminator, 154.
So,
Yeah.
Earl said he's not. Earl already stated he is not fighting Keith Thurman. I didn't explain that. They've tried to sell that fight multiple times. He's not giving him now. Keith didn't give him an opportunity. He said he's never fighting that guy, and I think he's standing on that.
And that means there's nothing on the table. I'm just saying there's really nothing on the table that PBC can make money on for the amount of money that these guys want to make, and Turkey's not interested in these guys to pay them the type of money that they want for it because he doesn't see them as who they think they are today. So, I mean, they're stuck. That's all I can say. They're stuck.
Well, I mean, they need to get their guys off the end of the bench and put them in the game. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter. They're not doing that. They're too busy on trying to take the capital of the share of the money and build their platform instead of just paying the fighters like they should accordingly, like Clay was mentioning earlier. Just give them that up for. I'm sorry, was it Angela? Get that money up front. Stop playing with them. You know what I mean? They're done with that model. They're not ready for that anymore. They don't want that pay-per-view back in money.
Well, the other thing that hurt PBC, the other thing that hurt
guys
PBC
off the end of the bench, and that's a part of the PBC thing that gets a little bit overlooked, is that you had guys that are being pretty active. It may not be the biggest names that people want to see, but you got the dudes like Vincent, Manny Pacquiao's boy, Astrolabio. He's been active. It hasn't always been on PBC cards. Carlos Adames is a PBC fighter. We just saw him versus what's my man's name in the spring?
Hamza.
Lanky boy. Yeah, Shiraz, we just seen him. We seen Pitbull Cruz and Rayo on the joint August 3rd.
Right. And McQueen, I agree with you. I'm not saying that, but that's not them keeping them active. That's them guys getting lent out, or as they would say, right, lent out to be on other platforms. These guys are fighting other places because they're not getting paid and they want to fight. They're boxers, and because the guys that want to fight are being loyal, the guys that are really going out there to make these fights happen, they're going other places. Barrios just fought on two different platforms. Or actually, fought on one different platform. Who was it? I'm talking about not Barrios.
Netflix. He was on the Netflix thing.
Yeah, he was on the Netflix thing, right? And then he was also, and then you have not just him. It was somebody else. I was thinking Pitbull fought on two different platforms, if I'm not mistaken. Not Pitbull. Who was it? Who was another fighter they had in the last?
Pitbull did. He fought Rayo on the
right on the Riyadh season, but he didn't fight nowhere else. So he fought back with PBC. I'm trying to think. It was another fighter. I'm sorry. It was David Morrell. He fought with Riyadh twice, and he fought. You know what I mean? So these guys are trying to move outside of where they are. They don't want to stay stagnant. They want to keep busy. I'm not mad at the PBC for doing what they're doing. I mean, they have to put the fights together. They got to bring the right people to the table. But to when I say that these guys got these guys on the bench, I'm talking about like Keith Thurman was sitting down for what? This is about to be his second fight in what, 5 years?
A lot of that was injuries. So Keith was having freak injuries.
Well, okay. So Earl's been climbing in the ring, right? Earl's been climbing in the ring to fight Fondura. Earl's been wanting to fight this guy, fight that guy. Names been circulating throughout the media space for the last 2 years. Earl hasn't fought yet. And people are very, especially me, I'm an Earl Spence fan, and people are pissed about it, that he's not fighting. I'm not pissed. I understand. It's the bag. They're not paying him what he wants to get paid. Charlo hasn't come back. You know what I mean? Big Charlo did, but Jamel hasn't come back yet. I mean, we have so many fighters that are just sitting down. Caleb Plant sat for 2 years before he had his comeback fight. Then when he got his second fight on a non-pay-per-view card, because he was supposed to headline the card prior to that. When he finally got his fight on non-pay-per-view card, he lost, and that was like an 8-month hiatus, almost a year. So I mean, it's aging these guys, man. Just sitting them out, they're aging outside the
Or they
ring.
can go
Yeah,
other
no,
places. It
definitely a
seems
lot.
like PBC is willing to give their blessing. If you want to go make some money elsewhere, you can make it
I mean,
elsewhere. Enjoy responsibly. I'm with you
well,
1000%, bro.
No,
The reason why
I
these
think
guys can sit
let's.
down is because they've been taken so well. They've been taken care of. And then all
So
these
right.
the
guys we talking
PBC
about,
is
all these
supposed
dudes
to
are in their
be
mid-30s at this point. If these guys want
right,
to go out there and fight, PBC is like, go ahead. I guarantee
right,
you when
but the
these guys go fight somewhere else and you see the PBC logo on the flyer,
right. But wasn't the
they
PBC
go
supposed
ahead
to
and
be
you
a
sign off.
brand like Riyadh season? Like all these guys supposed to have their own management teams anyway. A lot of these guys have their own promoters and or their own self promoters, right? And the PBC is just the place that they land that's their home. So they're supposed to be able to go anywhere they want anyway, such as No Limit. You have David Benavidez has his own promotion with Samson. Not his own, but works with Samson. You have Matias is not there anymore, but Matias was with homeboy down in Florida. You know what I mean? I want to say that guy's name that Bill said. That's funny. Peter McKinnon, whatever. But anyway, I know that's not true. I'm just making fun.
Then
But
Jonas, he got his own thing. He's
yeah,
about to
that's
put
exactly.
his
So
own
they
card
all have
together.
their
And then
own
we just
right.
saw him fight on the
So
zone back in April versus Boots. He's a PBC
right.
fighter.
But is that the PBC's blessing, or is that just because they fly under that banner, even though they have their own their teams, their own promotional company, that they can go wherever they want and don't have to be handheld by the PBC?
I
That's a
believe
good
it's
question.
both.
I think also that it's not a question about whether the PBC is willing to do stuff. I think the PBC has shown clearly that they're willing to allow their fighters to go fight in other places. We watching them do it all the damn time. I think the question is, would they rather do that? And if they're doing that out of necessity because they can't afford, you know what I'm saying, to put these fighters on the way they need to be put on, or are they doing it just because they're entertaining it? You know what I mean? That's what the question is. The question is, what is the future as far as business model wise that seems sustainable, that they're going to be able to return back into the space in the same capacity that they did before Showtime? Are they going to return in the capacity to be able to put on these fights, to put on these events? PBC has already showed and played their cards back in the day that they're not really interested in making fights outside of their banner. They only do that in extreme situations where it makes sense here and there. But for the most part, they rather bring somebody from the outside in and put on the fight on their card. If you're seeing them move the way that they're moving, that's awesome that they're willing to do that. And like I said it earlier, the future of the PBC is more than likely going to be involved with Turki Al-Sheikh in one way or another. Why? Because you see Luda Cubis, and you heard Turki Al-Sheikh speak out publicly and say that we have a partnership with Luda Cubis. So he's also tried to debunk the idea that it's about Turkey versus the PBC, or Ring Magazine versus the PBC, or Riyadh versus the PBC. The reality is that Turkey probably should get celebrated a little bit more than he does, because he's actually a lifeline for a lot of these American boxing companies who haven't been able to put on the events that they normally did years ago. Top Rank has openly admitted, we partnering with with Turki Al-Sheikh and what's going on over there. Golden Boy has clearly shown, even though they've been a little bit of a detractor from time to time with the way they speak, but the reality is, what we see happening in real time is that Turkey's a lifeline and a bloodline. Saudi Arabian money is a lifeline financially supporting a lot of these American boxing spaces. And the PBC is right there along with the rest of them, not separate like a lot of people would like to paint it, and not against the PBC coming up, but actually for and with the PBC coming up. And I think in the future, you're going to see that even more evident. So yeah, Manny Pacquiao fighting Gervonta Tank Davis on a Riyadh card would be like the nail in the coffin as far as the conversation is concerned about what fans are saying about the PBC.
Yeah, but all these conversations, they don't really amount to anything, to be honest with you. Because
they just
the
conversation.
name of the game is OPM. If somebody has the money, listen, man, it's like what my man Debo said. I got $200, but I want to spend Red's money.
Right.
Why spend my money if somebody else is willing to foot the bill? And that's what all these people do. So if I can lend my fight out to this, if I can lend my fight out to this event or that event or that event or this event and that event, and then I could still make a little something off the back end of that. That makes more sense.
That makes business sense completely. I would just wish the fans would understand that that's what's happening instead of painting this fake imaginary line in the sand that there's some sort of smoke. Like when you see, and I guess what I'm speaking to, let me speak more frankly, right? What I'm speaking to is when you see clickbait thumbnails talking about Turkey sabotaging the PBC or Turkey's attacking Tank Davis and buying up venues so that Tank can't make a fight, or that Turkey or Ring Magazine is somehow at war with the PBC. That's what I'm speaking to, right? I'm speaking to the idea of how fake and nonsensical that whole approach is, especially when you see the way the PBC openly works with Turkey consistently all the time. He does it, right? So I'm saying be happy, because otherwise a lot of the fighters over there that have not been active would be even less active if it wasn't for a Riyadh card happening in Los Angeles. For where would David Morrell be right now? How is David Morrell's fight that's being ordered right now with Caleb Smith going to be facilitated? How's that happening? Is the PBC putting that up? No, more than likely not. They may, but more than likely they're not. More than likely, through the grace of Saudi Arabians' interest in boxing, that fight has legs under it and can happen. And David Benavidez is getting an opportunity potentially to put himself in position to go ahead and become a unified champion and take over 175 through the grace and mercy of entities outside of the PBC to make that fight happen. These things are what they are, right? I have no issues with it, but I guess I'm speaking more towards the fan base, because I don't think the PBC has one damn issue with working with Turkey, not even a little bit.
I was just gonna say, shout out to, I think that's Phoenix Patriot for the $5 super chat. That's super.
Oh yeah,
cool.
yeah.
Please
Shout out to
hit smash the like buttons, guys. We're giving you guys good content. And Claymore, let me say this, and again, right? If you're into panel or you're into chat, and you're living your regular lives, it's hard enough to follow boxing. It's hard enough to follow boxing rankings. It's hard enough to follow your favorite fighters, but now we're talking about business. So let me tune you guys into something that, if you really want to know, because Dana Whyte, he just did a press conference Tuesday night here in Las Vegas at the Apex Center, answering questions about what's going to happen exactly now with boxing in 2026. Because, unless y'all forgot, their company's getting paid $10 million to do the work. And it's an unlimited budget by Sella. Now, I don't know exactly what the budget is that Sella puts together, but it's a bigger budget than I've ever seen. I'll tell you that. And it's really Sella, right? Let's not hey, shout out to Turkey for being a fan, but let's go behind the scenes a little. Let's peel the curtain a little. All right, Claymore. Turkey's a great front man to be the head of tourism and entertainment for Sella, the group that's actually paying for everything. Right. And if you really look at Turkey's page, he's doing everything from Hollywood stuff to NFL stuff to concerts, because they're making Riyadh the Las Vegas of that side. They're making Riyadh the across the Atlantic. Riyadh is the new Macau. Remember when Macau was a thing? It's the new, except there's no gambling, obviously, in Riyadh, right. But you can make dreams come true in Riyadh and the whole bit, right? Let's not forget that, again, this was told to us last year, the Vision 2030 by Saudi Arabia, right? There's a Vision 2030, okay? So let's look at the history of what Saudi has done. When they tried to take over golf, remember how the American mainstream media started biting back at them? And I mean, I was seeing, I don't even watch golf, and I was seeing it in the news about, well, this is terrible, and how could they be doing this, and all of that, right? No American media that I heard said anything about that when they took over boxing. And when this whole thing started? 2019, when Andy Ruiz fought Anthony Joshua in Saudi Arabia. I think that's the first time they looked at it and they went, you know what might be the easier sport to take over? Might be easy to take over boxing. And since boxing is global anyways, why don't we use that as one of our platforms for Vision 2030? And you know what's crazy about that long-term game plan that's already paid out, and it only took them less than 24 months to make it happen? Just like Claymore said at a certain time, you'll always be thankful for what PBC had done, but PBC at that time was the American company, and they didn't do anything to progress it. All right. Saudi came in and straight took them over, which is something they couldn't do to golf, but they sure as hell did it to boxing. And now you can fight in America if you'd like to, but if you'd like the premium money, if you'd like the premium price, we're inviting you to Riyadh, and you can come fight to Riyadh. And now they're making it feel like if you get to fight in a Riyadh season card, it's like getting a chance to fight or getting a chance to be in one of the 4 big tournaments of tennis. But if you get to actually fight in Riyadh with however they do taxes and money and everything else, they're making it seem like that's where you could really get the bag. That's where the whole dreams come true and the whole thing changes. And let's not forget that they will be involved in the 2028 Olympics, which, by the way, is being held in the United States of America, in LA. And if we end up having a great American team, which I really hope we do not be surprised if a good amount of that American team is funded by Sella. And there you go. The next time we get, because the last time a man won a gold medal was Andre Ward, and then there's Clarissa Shields, who did it twice, right? So those are our last gold medalists. But what if we end up getting a 1984 team again, Claymore? What if we end up getting a 1984 team again where we have 5, 6 gold medalists, but it was funded by Sella also? And behind the scenes, you had someone like Turkey, who already has been talking to the coach of gervontadavis, right? And he's already talking about helping out the youth and the community and the whole bit. So I'm just saying, man, look at the bigger picture, guys. PBC, like Claymore is saying, are they allowing their fighters to go, or are they basically trapped and they can't? And they have 250 contracts left. Those fighters need to make money. So while they're bleeding, they might as well make a little money themselves before they're completely out. But I could see PBC being gone. Top Rank, on the other hand, which I've seen on the chat, and everybody keeps chiming in on that. Top Rank's been the most sustainable. They've been the most sustainable company for boxing in forever. And do not be surprised with Top Rank and Bob Arum's 93-year-old genius ass if he ends up using this as a chance to have some free TV happening in America. You know which part of American television is hurting now because of all the streaming craziness, and now with Paramount Plus getting involved with free UFC, satellite TV, guys. Direct TV and cable is the one that's getting hurt. So don't be surprised if Top Rank Boxing ends up back on cable TV, man. Don't be surprised if you see Top Rank Boxing on TBS, Turner Television, the CW, and I'm here for all of it, because the more you give me free boxing content, the more I'm going to love it. So just want to say that, Claymore.
No doubt, man. No, I was just responding to a text message that I got from my guy. Yeah, man, listen, man. Not a bad thing, man. It's just about evolution. Speaking on it has become taboo. You can't speak on this in an honest way without it being some sort of attack it's called evolution. It's called things change. And things are changing. Right now, things are changing. And as a boxing fan, me personally, I'm interested in the boxing part about it. I have no loyalties to one particular promotional company for some crazy. I have no sentimental. I can celebrate a company for what they've done, what they've accomplished, and then when it's time for them to move on to the next chapter, I can accept that, because I have never been cut a check by any of these companies to help pay any of my bills, take care of my family, or do anything significant in my life to where I need to give them any kind of blind loyalty like that. Boxing is better because of boxing is becoming better. It's moving in a direction that I'm okay with. I'm seeing fights. The events are getting better. The production is getting better. I'm still having to pay for fights, and I'm just appreciating that I'm paying for better quality product right now. Because one way or another, I got to pay somebody. I don't care either way how it goes. I'm not tripping. It is what it is. You know what I mean?
I just wanted to say, remember when crazy people was running around saying that Turkey Al-Sheikh was just a YouTuber?
Yeah.
You know, and people was running all throughout the space with that, saying that, you know, he was broke, he didn't have money, he's just a YouTuber and all of this other stuff. We heard that he's not a prince. We know he's not a prince though. But
and real quick,
you know what I'm saying, the narratives that they was running around with. But now, you know, they all sick now because he practically took over boxing now. You know, he bought the Ring magazine and the belt, you know, and you know, all of the boxers are going over there, you know, getting their biggest paydays and everything. It's like you said, it's funny how things changed, you know, things have changed for sure.
Right.
But the people, it seemed like the people who is happy about it is just the people who just wanted to see the fights, people who just more interested in the fights rather than, you know, who's putting on the fights and stuff like that. I just wanted to throw that out there.
Yeah, I was going to agree with you. I was going to add to that too, because not only did that happen, just remember that those same people were happy about the Day of Reckoning card that happened in December, the first card that they really put out that was crazy. Don't forget that everybody was big on that. But as soon as Tank said, as soon as that conversation of Bill asking Tank to fight for 20 million, everything changed. And I don't really want to bring that whole Bill Devin or Tank Devin thing into fruition, but that's when things have changed in that whole picture that you're talking about. And you're absolutely right. That's what they said.
Yeah, without a doubt, the problem from my point of view started with the pressure that everybody deemed to be put on Tank, right? Because the whole time that these fights weren't getting put together, the big thing that was circulating throughout the American boxing space was that these other fighters weren't draws, right? That they weren't able to put asses in seats, they weren't able to sell pay-per-views, and that they didn't make sense for Tank to fight none of these guys. Well, when Turkey came in, that kind of got eliminated because this upfront money started to become super relevant. And nobody cared about pay-per-view numbers no more. Everybody kind of started to accept the fact that the pay-per-view model was a dying model anyway. So now the fans took it as an attack, and they found themselves defending Tank by attacking Turkey Al-Sheikh and what he was bringing to the table. It doesn't matter. One fighter can't stop the show. If he doesn't ever want to fight anybody, I know me personally, and I'm sure a lot of people have, gone well into the acceptance. Nobody's been pushing for. I don't remember the last time somebody pushed Tank to fight nobody seriously. We more just calling it how we see. We're waiting on him to say something, and then we call it from there, and we speak on it from there. Nobody's tripping off of it. But that's where the issues came up, right? The issues came because the PBC fans, and that's when people started to really see that there weren't really a lot of fans of boxing as much as fans of a promotional company and fans of one fighter. That this infusing of money into the boxing space completely got looked over as, man, boxing needs this, and it turned into all about defending one fighter in a promotional company. That's all it came out. And then you watch a promotional company consistently work with these people, and it still doesn't change the narrative. It still becomes a F Turkey, or Turkey's trying to, you know, savage. You see the thumbnails. It's so crazy. And even here in the chat, you see people just speaking recklessly, you know what I'm saying?
Crazy right now
about it. It is what it is, right? Like I've gotten to a point to where I've gotten past the silliness of it all. I don't really care. And I don't really care to the point to where I just speak about it openly now, where I was actually legitimately not talking about it as much as I would because I was trying to appease you idiots. But I don't even give a damn no more. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. The reality is what it is. At this point in the game, boxing is looking great. We got a great event coming up this weekend. A great stacked card as far as I'm concerned. I'm loving to see what Moses is going to do against Dillian Whyte. I want to see Nick Ball hurry up and get through Sam Goodman so he can get into the real conversations that I'm interested in, which is him unifying and fighting the other champions in the 126-pound division. Let's see what David Adeleye has to bring to the table. Maybe he's somebody. Maybe he's a nobody, right? I'm even interested in seeing Muhammad Akalel fight as well. Let's see what he's going to do. I don't care. Great fights coming up. November 22nd is going to be epic. September 13th is going to be crazy. 3 days of prelim fights. a main card, and I'm interested in the undercard there too. I hear people trashing that card as well because they want superstars everywhere now because Turkey set the standard so high. He set the bar so high. But yeah, Lester Martinez, Christian Mbilli, bring it on. I can't wait. Fernando Vargas versus Caleb Walsh. Let's get at it. I'm down, bro. I don't care about. I'm watching boxing like crazy. Just finished watching the tournament right now, the Grand Prix that WBC ran. Boxing is running rampant, which is why I put out that short. And I asked everybody to ask themselves, who's your favorite content creator? Watch boxing.
Yeah, because I definitely watched that the other day.
It seems like if it's not happening under your banner, that you're not watching it. That's what it looks like because you guys don't even talk about boxing when there's so much boxing going on. I can't keep up with it. It's overwhelming how much boxing is going on.
I remember, Claymore, when we had that very first conversation, and I was even saying, just open your eyes different now. Open your eyes different, and when you start to see it from a global standpoint, it's been like this for a while. And just so that you know, Ray, 2023, the first event, and it wasn't even that long ago when Riyadh did this, but it was such a significant ripple into the global boxing scene. But mostly the American market didn't see it as well, but the UFC market did. And that's Battle of the Baddest. That was the first 2023 Riyadh card. And the main event of that is Tyson Fury versus Francis Ngannou. And Ngannou took at the time, right? Tyson Fury, who had beaten Deontay Wilder, who was the king of American heavyweight boxing. And this UFC guy, for some reason, was able to take him, the distance, right? But in Battle of the Baddest, just so that you know, there was only one American card on, or one American fighter on that undercard. It was Junior Anthony Wright, I think, fighting Makhmudev, or maybe he got kicked out and Makhmudev ended up fighting someone. I'd have to look it up. But the other fighters on that card was Fabio Wardley versus David Adeleye, Joseph Parker versus Simon Keane, Moses Ituama versus a guy from Israel, I think, Bernath, and Martin Bacoli versus Carlos Takam. So that was like a big time heavyweight, let's move the needle. And the first time you saw the Trojan horse get into the PBC company was when Deontay Wilder went to Riyadh in December, because the biggest, baddest, most promoted guy that they had was Deontay Wilder. And when Deontay Wilder went to Riyadh, that was the Trojan horse, bro. And everybody started seeing it and going, well, shit, they're going to pay him the bag to look like that. Maybe they'll pay him.
What did Deontay say? He was over there on camera talking about, I love this, piecing it up with Tyson Fury. And they was like, oh, he should have snuck Tyson Fury. And it was all negative attention, man. Like, yeah, you absolutely right. You absolutely right.
And let me say this too, Ray, right? Like the Ring Magazine Awards, which was last year, you know how in the NFL or in the NBA, they have that rule where you can't talk to the players, because then you're kind of talking them into becoming a super team and whatnot. What do you guys think the Ring Magazine Award show is? It's not like the fighters are flying themselves to go there. They get invited, they get flown in, they get dabbed up with turkey. Next thing you know, oh, maybe, Louis, can I fight over there? And what's Louis and Al Heyman and PBC going to do anyways? They're just going to say yes and get their 10% or whatever they're collecting. Because let's not pretend like they're gifting these fighters. All right, Claymore, can we stop that narrative? Like, if you guys think somehow that, oh, well, PBC's just allowing them to go. No, PBC's collecting a premium unless the contract changed. They're collecting something. So all that's happening is they're slowly. It's death by 1,000 cuts, y'all. It's death by 1,000 cuts. And PBC will probably cease to exist, I'm sorry to say, by 2027. And all these fighters that you've seen, Yoan Lee Hernandez is a great example, right? Yo-Yo Diablo, love the guy. 160 pounds, 8-0, Cuban standout as an amateur. He's probably going to fight on September 13th. Mark my words. I'm saying it right here. I've said it on a couple other shows, but I'm saying it right here too. Yoan Lee Hernandez will fight. He'll probably fight somebody. And by the way, Claymore, I haven't heard you mention this yet, and maybe you have, and I didn't hear it, but have you noticed that the undercards of September 13th are not 12-round title fights? Have you noticed that they're all 10-rounders?
Yeah.
Even Muhammad Al-Akel is fighting a 10-rounder.
Right.
That might be a huge signal that Dana White and TKO was sending to American boxing, that things are about to shift, because he talked about it at the Apex, talking about that he is going to promote this Canelo Crawford card, but he's also already said publicly how he's not going to support the other belts. And he's also said publicly that he's going to tear boxing down to build it back up. So this is just a perspective on a prediction. The fact that the UFC just got sold for $7.7 billion. That's what
I think that's a big needle mover. I don't think people are highlighting that enough about what that means for combat sports in general. That's a huge needle mover.
That's what I'm bringing up right now, right? I
was talking about. I want to tap into something real quick right here, right? Shout out to 2 Cents. She said America first, right? And I think that's the whole problem. That's like, it's like a gaslighting, right? A gaslighting statement to say America first, because of course America first, right? I serve my country. If you see my truck, I got a ignorant ass American flag in the back of that mug. I drive up and down. I'm a big America. Like, this is boxing, right? Politically, Ray Davis knows where I stand. You know what I'm saying? And how I feel. I get deep on this political stuff, and I'm not going to bring it to this platform, right? But as far as America first, yeah, bro, you're going to find it hard to find somebody who's more the nationalist, you know what I'm saying, when it comes to that than me. I'm super American first, right? I'm dead ass super American.
And by the way, since you're talking America first, and let me finish my point so I can land it, right? 2 Cents, they just announced UFC White House. All right. That's, I mean, geez, you know, like on July 4th, I was telling Claymore, I was texting with him, I'm like, dude, this is going to break Super Bowl numbers, because this platform is a global platform. And I'm not even talking about just combat sports in general, but the fact that they're going to have an event in the lawn of a White House, you don't think regular ass political TV is going to pay attention to this outside of the US, especially? Whether they're clowning it, whether they're praising it, it doesn't matter. Everybody's going to be paying to America. They're going to be paying attention to America on July 4th next year, because they're doing a combat sporting event in the lawn of the White House. That is insane. That is insane to me.
Yeah.
Okay. So yes, America.
I think they should do a boxing match
because
there.
America is about to become.
Wait, hold on. Let me speak to 2 Cents real quick. Because I said gaslighting. And what I mean by gaslighting is that turning boxing, which is a world sport, right? Turning it into Turkey bringing events like what he's bringing to Vegas, or what he did in LA, or what he did in New York, like 2-3 events in a straight World Ring magazine. Turning those events that are putting American boxers on the biggest stages possible for them to show their talents, to build up American boxers who their own companies are having a hard time facilitating the opportunities to do. When you see David Benavidez going over to Riyadh, headlining that card in Riyadh, an American boxer. When you watch Abdullah Mason get an opportunity to become a champion to fight against a Sam Noakes, this is supporting American boxing. This is pushing American boxing in a way that American boxing hasn't been able to do for itself. If we're going to be honest and acknowledge that the trajectory of this sport has been going in the wrong direction for years, well before Turkey. There's an argument there to say that if Turkey's involved in the game in the capacity that he is right now, it's because he saw an opening, because he watched a sport that was hemorrhaging money and watching networks run away from promotional companies like Top Rank, like the PBC. When we watch that happening for years, what's happening right now is saving American boxing. Yes. So yeah, I say it's gaslighting when you say America first, because it paints a picture as if the competition and the win is on the back end, that the competition is between America and Saudi Arabia, or America and Turkey, or when the fact it's a reverse, that Turkey's actually acknowledged the strength of an American black boxing champion, heavyweight champion, that he's sitting here celebrating and putting on a Devin Haney or Shakur Stevenson or Abdullah Mason or Keyshawn Davis or Shushu Carrington, as he's going through all the biggest stars in American boxing and working on giving them the platform that they need so that American boxing doesn't die to the side. When you sit there and say America first in the middle of a conversation like that we're having, it is gaslighting, because it makes certain people, casuals, feel like supporting the direction boxing is going right now is going against America, and it's not true.
I think they might have misspoke. They might have meant Tank first, or PBC first.
So let me say this, Claymore, and again, I want to land this, but with what you guys are seeing, and believe me, when Monday that happened, and we were like 7.7 billion. So let me get this straight. The company, when it was sold for 1.5 billion a few years ago, we were like, damn, who the hell overpaid for that? Right? Like, wow, y'all really gonna do that? But then there was a plan. Then they became a publicly traded market in the stock game, right? Then it became, well, there's Endeavor with Hollywood, there's the WWE, there's the UFC. The final piece to this entertainment in the United States for this particular group, that is the one that is being paid by Sela, which is the Saudi investment group that pays Turkey to do all this stuff. It ain't Turkey's money. It is Saudi's money. It is Sela's money, right? So anyway, they're paying the TKO group to do this. So the final piece of the puzzle to this American entertainment thing that they're doing right now, because they already got Hollywood entertainment locked down with Endeavor. So take a look at all of their artists. They might have music, I'm not sure yet, but they definitely have the WWE, right? And that's American entertainment. They got the UFC, and now that the UFC is going to be free, if you've ever been a UFC fan, right? If you've ever been an MMA fan, and I'm talking about when they used to say it was human cockfighting, and Bob Arum was like, that's for the drunk white people, they're all racist, whatever, right? Okay. If you've ever been a
Louisiana, what was it? It was Louisiana, and I think it was like one other city that would allow it to happen. Like,
yes,
it was,
that would only. Oh no, and of course,
it was Vegas,
Atlantic City allowed
Vegas,
it.
and Atlantic City,
no,
right?
Atlantic City allowed it because of Trump, right? So anyway, so if you've ever been a fan of MMA, right, what they did is they took a sport, grew it from the bottom, where it was crazy. Kimbo Slice was already doing MMA fights before a cage was even put out. He was in the backyard of Florida doing MMA anyways, right? They literally grew a sport from the bottom all the way to the point where we're about to watch it on a global stage on the lawn of the White House. Now, if they can do that in that short amount of time, what do you think they're going to do with boxing? What do you think that same company is going to do with boxing? And I'm saying that, Claymore, to say,
and with a bag, because they didn't have the bag at first. They had to build it organically. Now they got a bag on them. What would Dana have done with the UFC if he had that bag? If Turkey would have jumped on UFC, come on, bro.
Yeah, exactly. So I say that to say now.
Hold it down. I'll be right back, guys.
Yeah, I say that to say now, Ray, that the UFC becoming free actually helps open the doors for American boxing, but it's not going to be the American boxing that we were used to seeing before. Now what's going to happen, from what I'm at least hearing, is that Tuesday night fights will become a thing, because right now it is a thing. Tuesday night fights happens, guys. If you pay attention to MMA, it's called the Contender. The Contender Series is a thing. It's seasonal, and what the Contender Series is they go to the Apex, they all fight each other, and they're fighting for a contract. How does Dana White build his own team of boxers that's going to be signed to Zuffa Boxing? He's going to do a Tuesday night Contender Series. He's going to have free agent fighters fighting other free agent fighters, and they're all going to be fighting for that Zuffa Boxing contract. And it's not going to take that long for them to all of a sudden have the same exact format that the UFC has for boxing. And then that will be the American boxing model. And for everybody thinks I'm crazy for saying this, I didn't say this way the way we're watching boxing is going to die, because boxing's too powerful. Outside of the United States, it's been powerful. Outside of the United States, they've been selling stadiums. They've been selling, like, so you're still going to have fighters who are going to go that direction. But what I am saying is Zuffa boxing will kind of become like the UFC. They'll be their own thing, and it'll take a while for them to be big enough, but it won't be as long as you think. In the meantime, we will see I can't see Shakur Stevenson or Keyshawn Davis or Abdullah Mason or any of these young Americans necessarily signing with Zuffa boxing. I think they're going to do their thing and sign with Matchroom, Queensberry, fighting Riyadh, and all of that. But these other cats coming up, man, like Joshua Edwards, Caden Griffith, some of these youngsters who have less than 10 fights, who are still 18, 19, 20 years old. All I'm saying, guys, is don't be surprised. Don't be surprised. But go ahead, Ray.
No, I do understand, man. 100% understand. Like, I just think that we look at a lot of things in situations in the sport based on what's now, right? Nobody seems to put the what's coming pause in front of the sport, right? The sport was definitely dying. We all mention it. Every single platform I've been in was saying boxing was dying. The biggest networks are getting away from the sport, and now you have somebody that's willing to invest because of this. We're not helping the sport by arguing if they're bad for helping the sport. Turkey mentioned, as Clay said earlier, that he wants an American heavyweight champion. Like, why would he say that if he didn't care about America, right? That's first and foremost. Number two, why keep what we have in America bottled up against the world? If it's a global sport, let's go be the best at it. Let's go across seas. Let's beat everybody there too. Home, away, wherever the case may be. I mean, we do it in basketball. We do it in other sports, right? We always say we had the best athletes in every other sport. But when it comes to boxing and we say we had the best athletes, we want to keep them here and have them fight each other. Like, there's other fighters out there that we don't know about, right? And then we get these fighters that come over here and they disrespect us by beating our champions, by doing certain things because we didn't see it coming, because we don't know who they are. And then next thing you know, here we go. Oh, they robbed them, or this happened, or or this guy's the truth, and or this guy's white, or this guy's Filipino, or this guy's Mexican. Like, no, we not fighting on the same platforms. We're staying consistent. Point to my point, Bacoli beat the bricks off of an American heavyweight that everybody thought was the best American heavyweight that nobody seen coming. So are we really going to sit there and keep saying that, okay, we keep everything home and we just stay here or stay there, it's going to happen that way? No, yeah, we'll defend it now in hindsight, saying, well, he was never tested correctly. He never fought nobody. Okay, but that's not what we were saying before the fight. I remember me and Clay sitting here arguing with people like, yo, Jared is about to lose. Literally say that, right? We literally say here saying that.
Hold on, Claymore, because I want to address this too. Thank you, Ray, for saying all of that. So you don't have to put it up, but I see the chat. So Ross Clott, you're not once in my entire soliloquy did I ever say MMA was bigger than boxing. In fact, I've always said that boxing is the bigger sport. In fact, I've been adamant at getting mad at the American media for not pushing boxing, because when I step outside of these United States, boxing is shown on regular ass TV, like regular ass conversations, because you can walk into any regular ass coffee shop and actually talk boxing with someone. America is the only place where I can't go to Starbucks and literally, Ross Clott, I literally cannot go into any Starbucks and talk to someone about boxing, because all these people don't even know that we have 21 USA born and raised American champions right now. In fact, let me ask you, Ross Clott, you might not even realize we have 21 USA boxing world champions, 23 if you want to count interim champions, but 21 if you want to count actual belt holders in American born and raised world champions right now. Brother, that is 30%. 30% of the entire belts. 30%, man. That means we're great. So how come we don't know about it? In fact, let me ask you this question. Since you're the one that threw up the MMA not bigger than boxing when I never even said that. But let's go ahead and factually say what's out there. If boxing is so great in the United States, then how come PBC didn't get a $7.7 billion contract to go ahead and put it out there for free? Explain that one to me, right? And go ahead, go do your research, bro. Don't come at me because Claymore knows I'm like Echo with this stuff.
No,
I'm
listen,
like Echo with this stuff.
no,
man.
100%.
You better
And
use
listen,
your words. You better not be using no hate words. You better make sure that I actually said the words that I said. But I'm gonna be real right now. You know where America's at in terms of everyone loving it and the mainstream media loving it? We're last place. That's where we're at because Japan shows boxing more than we do. All right, Japan does it more than we do. So no. I don't want to hear that type of talk. What I am going to say though is the fact that the company that just got bought for $7.7 billion to go ahead and be on free television on CBS, where they show college sports, right? Where they show other sports. The fact that that just happened and the same company happens to also be in charge of mainstream American boxing moving into 2026. I'm going to tell y'all right now. Yes, America will have boxing free on TV again, but it's not the boxing that you're used to seeing. It's going to be built from the ground up. Dana White's exact words, look it up. He's going to build it from the ground up. He's going to tear it down and he's going to build it up. That's what he said. He's not going to use any of the sanctioning belts.
Wait, can I ask a question real quick here? I just want some perspective put on this. I've always been a fan of the sport itself, right? I'm a big mixed martial arts, UFC, Pride. I was watching it. I love MMA, right? Before I got into this boxing space like this, I've always watched boxing, but MMA was something that I followed crazy because boxing was just kind of like all over the place at one point in time. I always watched the big fights, of course, though. But I never was concerned so much about the budget or the business of how Dana White did his business with fighters, paying them, not paying them, underpaying them. All the narratives that are pushed out right now about Dana White and what he's done for MMA. From my personal standpoint, I've watched the UFC do nothing but grow, get bigger. That's all I've seen with my eyes, right? But, there's always detractors, right? Because I hear people talk about MMA fighters talking about they don't get paid, and I hear fighters cry all day long. I'm watching Teofimo Lopez jump into every antic, cringy spot he can to get more money because he can't seem to get the money he thinks he deserves, right? But as far as Dana White is concerned and the business model that he ran with the UFC, how is that a failure? Did he underpay a bunch of fighters? Did he screw over a bunch of fighters? Because I know people don't know that your background is
and I prefer Claymore.
I'm trying not to bring it up to actually who you are.
All right.
Like, you know what I'm saying? But just as far as, and I apologize in advance for even exposing it up to this point, right? But just to say that, did Dana White screw over a bunch of fighters? Is the business model a horrible model that is going to destroy boxing? What did Dana White do with the UFC, in your opinion? At this point,
can you do me a favor and put up what Rick Tim 9705 put up right there? Do you see it? When I was in Birmingham? Yes. Mm-hmm. Hey, take a look at that, chat. That's not me. I'm not pumping it up. That's just a real person talking about some real ass truth. All right.
Hey, you know what? I think it partially. I think the fact that we don't have a strong heavyweight division, and America, we don't have a strong fighter in the heavyweight division. I think most of the casuals in America, they're more familiar with the heavyweight division, and I think that's more exciting to see, a heavyweight fight where people is always going to get knocked out. Somebody's going to get knocked out. The power is always one punch away from the fight being ended and stuff like that. I think the closest thing that we have to that is Gervonta Tank Davis. Bud was on the streak at 147, but not so much now. But I think when the heavyweight division shines, I think the Americans are more accepting of boxing. I think boxing thrived more when we have a strong heavyweight division. And, you know, for years, you know, so far
No,
now,
no,
you know, the
and
heavyweight
you know
division
what?
is real weak.
And
You know, and
I'll go
Americans,
ahead
we
and
don't even
add to
have a
your
strong.
point.
Deontay Wilder was good, but you know, a lot of people, you know, he had his detractors, people saying that, you know, he don't know how to box. He's just, you know, a one-trick pony. That's what people say, or whatever, because his power is the thing. But I think that's what was driving it, because of that power. You know, it was exciting to see him knock somebody out. And so now that, you know, he's kind of, you know, not really at the forefront, now it's boring to a lot of people now. You know, I think the heavyweight division is what really moves boxing for the Americans.
No, okay, and let me go ahead and I'll add to your point, okay? But there's a lot of reasons why, and me and Claymore have had an intellectual conversation about this before, where as to why boxing died essentially in terms of American mainstream media, and it became a niche sport. You know, a sport that if you grew up loving it like we did, you stayed on, right? Yep. But they even showed you what Showbox numbers were. Okay, Showbox numbers were what? Oh, we got a consistent 200,000 fans that will watch it on Showbox. Go look at the numbers for USA boxing on Tuesday Night Fights on the USA Network. Go look at those numbers, because those were in the millions, brother. Those are not in the 100,000s on free ass TV. Fights. That's what it was like. It was in the millions. So
MSG,
and I'm going to land my point on your question, Claymore. I'm going to land my point on your question. But I want to make this point because believe me, man, I was one of the people that also would say that. You know what? The American public, they would love a heavyweight. They would love a heavyweight. And if a heavyweight American was the champ, then boxing would be popular in America. Okay, the only counter to that point is, number one, it's America's own damn fault for not creating a heavyweight champion. Because the last time I remember one that was a great heavyweight champion was Mike Tyson. Then we got to the Lennox Lewis era. Then we got to the Klitschko's. Then we went to Joshua. Now we're at then our one hope, because he was mismanaged. Since we're talking about mismanagements and screwing fighters, was PBC should have allowed Deontay Wilder to fight Anthony Joshua. And I understand, okay, but check it out. No, I'm not. Let me finish. Knowing what we know now of what happened to Joshua, knowing what we know now that Andy Ruiz knocked him out, you don't think if we can go back in time, the Deontay Wilder might have knocked him out? Because I was big on Deontay Wilder. And let me say this too. When people shit on Deontay Wilder, I defend him all the time. The man won a bronze medal for us. The man won a bronze medal. Why are you guys shitting on a guy who did not get 100 amateur fights? He didn't get no 200 amateur fights. He didn't get funded the way Eastern Europeans get funded. He didn't get funded the way other countries fund their boxers in amateur fights. Deontay had to do it because he was trying to provide for his family, man. All right? Then Deontay Wilder showed up in the scene and became the baddest man on the planet. He was the baddest man on the planet. I loved me some Deontay Wilder. 100% knockout rate up until the Bermain-Stavern fight. 100% knockout rate. And then the way he knocks out Bermain-Stavern, he's the most exciting cat in boxing at that point. Exactly. All right, but I didn't hear even regular ass Alabama news talk about him. I didn't hear regular ass California news talk about him. Oh no, it had to be a special niche pay-per-view thing. Oh, you gotta pay to hear about Deontay Wilder, because if you're the baddest fucking man in the planet, everybody should be talking about you like you're Mike Tyson. If you're the baddest fucking man in the planet, everybody should be talking to you about how you would knock out that guy from the UK, how you should destroy that guy from the UK. But what did the narrative become? The narrative become, oh, nah, man, it's about the money, and this is going to happen, and that's going to happen, and they never fought, y'all. They never
And it
fought.
was PBC's fault they didn't fight.
To this day, Claymore, to this day, I want to see Deontay Wilder versus Anthony
Philly
Joshua.
cheated him, man.
Hold on, wait, guys. Wait. Hold
Yo,
up.
Clay, can you
Time
hear
is
me?
running
Can you
out
hear
for
me,
me.
Clay?
Wait. That's literally what I'm about to go into, Ross Scott, because I want that to get addressed. That's literally what I'm about to go into. I want Ross Scott to get an opportunity to say what he needs to say, because him and Reyes were kind of going at it. Then we're going to be closing up. I got the HVAC people here. They're working on my air
I'm back in
conditioning.
the
They're
chat
going to be
because too
making a
many
bunch of
people
noise.
up here.
Yeah, they're going to be making a bunch of noise. So go ahead.
Oh yeah. So first of all, when you the other guy that was just speaking, when you went on your little rant, I wasn't talking to you. I wasn't saying you said UFC was bigger than boxing. Second of all, you don't know me to say I don't know anything about boxing or whatever you said, because I know plenty of
I
it.
never said
Second
any.
of all,
Did I say that, Claymore? Did I ever say the
I
word
didn't hear him
you
say
don't
that,
know
but
you
anything
told me to
about
do my
boxing?
research. You told me to do my research.
Right.
Just know I know a lot.
I
Just
did
know I
say
know a
that.
lot.
I said the 21 world
I got you.
champions because
I
was
know
making a
all
point
of
about
that.
a Starbucks.
Right. Second of all, the fight with Wilder, the reason why fans were shitting on Wilder is because he had a bunch of crazy American fans acting way too crazy in the boxing space, and that's the reason why he got shitted on. And then he ducked the fight with Anthony Joshua. That's America's fault. Wilder should have never ducked Anthony Joshua. We wouldn't have been in this situation.
Yeah. By the way,
I agree with that, Ross. That was my point. I agree with that. He should have knocked out Joshua.
Let me put you on, Angelo and Ross Scott. And in real life, because I know Ross Scott in his boxing space. I mean, I don't know him like that, but I know him in his boxing space. The reality is, you guys are going to be way cooler when it's all said and done than not, because Ross Scott's a big time boxing fan and historian. So is Reyes. One of Ross Scott's best friends on here is Echo, and
I love that too,
and all that. But at the end of the day, that chat is diabolical. I've gotten caught up in it because people are having conversations in there, and you are assuming at times that people are speaking to you, and they're really talking to each other, and we're missing it because we're talking and we're looking down periodically and we're seeing things. That's why I wanted Ross Scott to come up here, because I was even here for it. I don't even know what happened, but I knew that if he came up here, that it was going to get ironed. I knew it was going to get.
I apologize, Ross Scott. I thought that was directed at me.
No.
I apologize.
No. There's no need to apologize at all. I'm just saying. It was a statement. And when y'all see me in the chat, Ray and Clay know I say a bunch of crazy shit in the chat. Y'all can just ignore me.
Okay.
He always has a different name. He always has a different name on here. It's the King right now, but I'm waiting for him to finally go on that tailor-made name that we all know him for, which is Mr. Your Favorite Fighter's a Fucking Bum. That I don't know when he's not gonna put it out. He always goes around. It's the King. That he's never going to. I don't know. That's the most obvious name for him, and he just refuses to acknowledge it. I don't know.
Yeah,
I love it, Ross Scott, and
it's
and
almost
I love that
it's
you're a
almost
boxing historian, because believe me, man, I love having conversations with people who actually know boxing. It's so hard to find, right? But just yesterday, Rasclot, I was on 3 shows, and because I just counted it. I was just busy counting it because I like doing stuff like this. It's weird. It's a nerdy thing. But we have 21 born and raised American champions, Rasclot. 21.
Yeah.
21.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And,
so
and no one knows who they are.
Stephen A. Smith talking about that on a daily, let's even not say daily, on a weekly basis. Can I get a boxing segment on a weekly basis on ESPN, please?
They got rid of Max Kellerman.
They mentioned that we have 21 born and raised United States of America fighters, right? That would be amazing, but they never talk about it. They make it seem like it's an alien anomaly, right?
Remember that they fired.
All right, guys,
listen.
Guys, I got to step off. I got my dude coming here to work. I got the whole crib getting worked on today. So, this was lit. On the next one, we're gonna get at it even more. I appreciate Ross Scott coming up here and you and Angelo able to iron that out.
It's all good.
No doubt.
Hey, Ross Scott, follow me, bro, on
the people in the chat, tell them I don't never get cooked.
Yeah, no doubt.
It's all good.
Shout out to everybody.
Ross Scott. Frequent said he beat you. Don't let it fall.
It's all good.
Salute to everybody. Salute everybody.
Salute, y'all.
In the building.
Salute.
To all the super chats and everything in the building today, man. Boxing is doing well, alive and great, man. Until the next one, you guys know what it is. It's your boy Rain. It's at ATP. At this point, we out.